Grams dance, orange man bad, that's their only dance. Scrolling through the feed, they swallow the lies. Echo chamber loud, got stars in their eyes. Talking big game, but they don't dig deep. Following the herd, just a flock of sheep. Control alt delete, they stuck in the code. Media's the puppet master pulling they load. No critical thought, just repeat what's fed. Talking about orange man, got them seeing red. NT vibes, no brain, just static. Libtard logic, man, it's automatic. Orange man bad, that's the only track. But they don't know why, cause they don't know facts. NPC vibes, yeah, they stuck in the game. Libtard life, always pointing the blame. Wake up, break the code, see the world intact. Stop the script, yo, it's time to know facts. They tweeting in caps like they know what's good, but they just regurgitate what's misunderstood. CNN, MSNBC, got them in a trance. Never check the source, just advance the stance. Orange man evil, but they can't explain why they feel that way. It's just wired in their brain, no debate, no reason, just a preset line. Glitching in the system, wasting all their time. I'm spitting raw truth, trying to break the spell, but they stuck in the matrix in a digital hell. Red pill, blue pill, they don't want to choose. Rather stay asleep cause they scared to lose. SC vibes, no brain, just static. Libtard logic, man, it's automatic. Orange man bad, that's the only track. But they don't know why, cause they don't know facts. NPC vibes, yeah, they stuck in the game. Libtard life, always pointing the blame. Wake up, break the code, see the world intact. Stop the script, yo, it's time to know facts. Yo, they call it woke, but it's sleep mode on. Parrot in the talking points from dusk to dawn. Never read a policy, never checked the score. Just yelling at the screen, thinking they at war. I ain't saying orange man's a saint or a king, but think for yourself, don't just pull the string. Question what they feed you, break the coded trap. Level up your mind, stop reciting the app. Yo, unplug from the system, let your mind run free. Ain't no NPC, you a player BG. Facts over fiction, let the truth set the tone. Libtard or not, make the world your own. Wake up, break the code, see the world intact. Stop the script, yo, it's time to know facts. Can it? It's time to know facts. It's time to know facts. Yo, it's time to know facts. Yo, it's time to know facts. It's time to know facts. Yo, it's time to know facts. Yo, it's time to know facts. Yo, they call it woke, but it's sleep mode on. Parrot in the talking points from dusk to dawn. Never read a policy, never checked the score. Just yelling at the screen, thinking they at war. I ain't saying orange man's a saint or a king, but think for yourself, don't just pull the string. Question what they feed you, break the coded trap. Level up your mind, stop reciting the app. Yo, unplug from the system, let your mind run free. Ain't no NPC, you a player BG. Facts over fiction, let the truth set the tone. Libtard or not, make the world your own. Yo, it's time to know facts. Yo, it's time to know facts. Yo, it's time to know facts. Time to know facts.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Cool Stream Live. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are all having a great and blessed Monday so far. Going to be sort of a return to normalcy. I mean, obviously, I don't think any of us are over Charlie Kirk's murder yet. But you know what? We never will forget it. We'll never get over it. But it's time to get back to a little bit of normalcy, though. How's it going, Dan DeFlavus? Good to see you. Good to see you, Slave of Christ. Now, guys, I'm not going to be alone today. I'm actually going to be joined by a special guest. You might have seen him on some of the debates I've reviewed on here. His name is, well, hold on. James, starting it off hot with the $40 dono. Sorry, Vic, I've been traveling, and then the last week I've just been heavy, so I took an in-ear break. Here's a makeup for my answer. Dude, you didn't have to do that. But honestly, thank you very much. Getting everything started off right. Thank you very much for the $40 dono, James. But like I was saying, you've seen this man debate. He is none other than Martae Rayless. Martae, how's it going, brother?
How's it going? Liberal, walking, repellent in the flesh. I noticed that you can kind of be likewise as well, too. So welcome. Thanks for having me up, by the way, too.
Hell yeah, brother. Before we get started, for people who don't know who you are, explain who you are, explain where they could find you right now.
I am an IFBB professional bodybuilder, and I'm also a Super League pro in 2 professional world-class sports, beat a world record holder to be on Team USA. Shortly after that, started becoming somebody who did a lot of interviews, got into the debate space, became quickly assimilated with the likes of the Crucible and people like that. I'm also Andrew Wilson's fitness and diet coach also. But here's the thing, though. I am walking liberal repellent. You heard it right the first time. A lot of the injustices that happen are against free speech, and I stand for that and stand for debate, which the liberal left likes to shut us up. And it wasn't the Second Amendment, which they hated, which Charlie Kirk uttered. It was the first that they despised. They just didn't like how we used it. And this knife cuts both ways, but I'll leave it back to the host.
Hell yeah, brother. This is why I want to amplify certain voices like Martae's, because he is a soldier in the war that we are currently battling right now, and no doubt about it, it is a war. I mean, once they cross that line, don't you think, Martae? We're kind of in the middle of a war right now. They crossed the line, murdering Charlie Kirk, and so this is just far beyond just internet stuff. This is pretty important.
Yeah, I think we have numerous weapons at our disposal, and the numerous weapons are, I'll say one thing, one delineation. The gray area that we don't need to walk across is becoming like the left. That's what they want you to do. They want you to assimilate and be absorbed into that spectrum. That's the last thing I refuse to do. I will keep fighting, and then not to mention fight, but I will expose myself and dox myself. I don't care. They hate this. Where I fall, there will be 10 taking my place, just like Kirk. So we will stand for his message and continue on his fight as well, too, as seen here by KEWlV1C.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. We will never become as bad as the left. Never gonna resort to their tactics of violence, obviously. But I mean, this stuff about like with canceling and stuff, like I've said it already on here in my stream before. I really don't care anymore about standing on principles and stuff like that. It's like, no, they're doing it to us. They crossed the line here. I have no problem. They're not just not just working at the McDonald's. These are our nurses or teachers. And if we don't get these people out of here, like if we don't squash this ideology, it could get much worse.
Yeah, that's true. We see this in modern day culture. And the problem with this is when they do this censorship on their side, now we have to speak stupid on the internet. We have to say words like grape. Like we literally sound really slow boys on the internet because of this. Now, the problem with this is whenever they cancel culture us, we have to say grape. There's certain words we can't say on YouTube. We get deplatformed to demonetized. But then when we say the truth, they get pissed. Now we see semblances of this happening on their end because this knife cuts both ways. Now they're speaking up, celebrating a certain death, being fired from jobs. But you see how this knife cuts both ways when they don't like it when it hits them, but they like it when it benefits them at the same time. So they don't like double standards when it affects them. And I'm happy for this. So, and I'm here for this as well, too. So.
Yeah, and we've always told them, like when they were canceling us, we told them like, hey, listen, you're opening up a whole new door here. How do you say it? Like a whole new like Pandora's box here by like doing this cancel thing, because it's eventually going to turn around on them, and they didn't listen. So hey, now it's turned around on them, and hey, they reap what they sow.
The problem with this is all they did was greenlight a knife that cuts both ways. And now that they're falling on their sword, they're complaining about this. Well, here's the thing, though. You made your bed and you have to lie in it. How's that, scum, liberal scum? I will be on the trail basically annihilating and eviscerating liberals like Destiny in the future. He has since made some comments, and all this has done was embolden me to even fight even more with more vitriol towards them. And I'm going to use the same tactics that I've always done, never changing it up and never becoming like the liberal left and using bullets, but using speech, which is extremely powerful.
Yeah, exactly. It's a don't say this often, but it's a good thing you brought up Destiny, because I actually, in my bookmarks, I actually have some of Destiny's recent comments, pretty disgusting comments, but what do you expect from the Coomer Gremlin himself? So I'm going to pull that up right now. Let me see. Here, let me bring that up on the screen. Here we are. So Destiny, well, let's see what Destiny has to say, and then we'll give our thoughts on this.
not exactly like.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay, I'm done today. I don't give a fuck. God, it's gonna be so fucking gay if I get killed in the next fucking 2 months of shit I'm doing. Well, the cucked shit out here. Please don't anybody make any actual fucking the most cucked, weak ass, fucking bullshit ass speeches on my side. God, if it happens, holy shit, I'm gonna make a death note before I go out to go live and not. God, it's so cucked. It's so optics cucked.
So yeah, that's just typical Destiny. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's always our fault. Like they're like abusive spouses where it's like, oh yeah, they need to be afraid of getting killed so they could ask so we could ask our leadership to turn down the temperature. Like, well, how about you guys asking your leadership to turn down the temperature? They're abusive spouses. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're pissed because they turned the stove on themselves, and then they're pissed because they keep putting their hand on it. So they're dishing out a medicine that they refuse to take. By Destiny's own words, he's stating that they keep turning the temperature up. Well, historically, guess what's going to happen when you increase the vitriol? This right here, by saying that, we should expect to get shot. What else do you expect? Like, this is just vitriol. It's just lava being spewed by him. It's liberal lava. That's all this is. And it's going to burn them just as it burns anybody else. They're ingesting poison as they speak. So,
Yeah, no, like 100%. Just 100%. But yeah, they never, that's something that always bugged me about Destiny. He never wants to take responsibility. He always puts it back on the Republicans, never ever on the Democrats end. Personally, I'm personally done with Destiny. I've heard other people like Rob Norris said he wasn't going to debate Destiny anymore. What do you think about that? Would you still debate Destiny? Do you think there's still a need to hear from someone like Destiny? Do you think there is any saving them or anything at all?
well, here's the thing, though. You always have to think about what's that thing in Japanese culture where they're hitting the stick, and it's like the practice dummy. You need this, and if you're going to take the best one that you're going to practice on and sharpen your tools on, it's not about me platforming his message or anything like that. But in order for me to get better, he's the best that the left has. I don't want to sharpen my tools on anything else. I think he's a pretty dual weapon to use to sharpen your weapons on. But that's what I'm going to use him as, a practice dummy. And I think he's probably the best practice dummy ever. So there's two sides of the coin. I understand that Rob doesn't want to hear his message and put it out there. But guys like me that are up and coming, that want to improve and sharpen their tools, why not destroy these guys at the same time? All he's done is step aside so that way guys like me can use him to sharpen our tools on. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty sad though that Destiny is the best that they got. I mean, that's how low the bar has been set for the left, where Destiny is like, yeah, he's pretty much the one, they're the best one they have. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. I think Not So Erudite's like behind somewhere. And pretty much that's about it. I can't really name anybody else who's decent. I mean, you got Radical, who gets eviscerated every turn. He's like what would you call it in wrestling, the heel? I mean, the guy that just shows up.
The jobber. Yeah.
Yeah, he's yeah, that's what Radical is. He's the jobber, and then you have other people just like this, like Soy Pill. They'll show up, and all they do is show. Because here's the thing, though, I'll tell you this: if you have a wrestling tournament, and let's say you have placings, right? They're there to make first place look good. That's all they're there for, is to make the ornament at the top of the tree look good, while they're just decorations on the side. And I mean, you need this to agenda look good as conservative, traditional people, to have our propagandized message shine through. I mean, they're just scumbags. That's all it is. I'll just say it blatantly. So.
Yeah, pretty much. They are scumbags. Now, Martae, I'm getting a lot of people in the comment section that are requesting, because I guess Andrew was on Piers Morgan, and Destiny was also on it too, and Anna Kasparian. And they're telling me that Andrew goes off. So if you wouldn't mind, we could still watch what we're planning to watch today, but maybe we could fit that in as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Hell yeah, brother. So let's see. So we'll go through just a few of the bookmarks, I guess, today, and then I could continue the rest tomorrow. Because we gotta laugh at some of these libs today and show people exactly what we're up against. Did you hear about this, Martae? So this is probably a criminal or someone that the left has released back into the public probably several times. I have no evidence of this, however, just judging by how it's been before. I wouldn't be surprised. A video of a black man being beaten after R. Kellying a child in an Arizona movie theater is going viral, with the child's father and other moviegoers attacking him before police arrived to handcuff and escort him out. So this is just a video. Um, let's see. It's really hard to tell, so I'll just play it.
Thunder breathing. 7-4. God of fire, thunder. Damn you! I always do this to
bro.
people like you more than me. Why else would he only teach you that technique?
So yeah, so they beat him up, rightfully so, and now he's just lying there. Now, what do you think? Do you think this is probably most likely another person that the Democrats feel deserve all these chances? Like I said, no evidence, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. What do you think?
Well, there's a lot of people justified, and I think we have a issue in America right now, and I don't know the words for this, but I'm going to make up a word right now for it. I'm going to say that this is a placebo mental illness excuse that's happening right now. I don't know if those words exist in conjunction, but I'm going to put them together. It's a blatant excuse that we're having to justify what people do and pawning this off as a mental illness. Now, the person on the train, I'm going to tie these all together. If you do anything, punch somebody in public, like a kid, touch a kid, if you put a knife to somebody's throat, all this is just, you have a mental illness if you do any of this stuff. It doesn't matter who you are. I think you should receive some kind of punishment. Now, what happened is the court of public opinion, which is now in the movie theater, which is the town square, has moved site and location, part and parcel, to this guy's action. And I think this is justice being done. It's parking lot justice delivered in a movie theater. And I don't think that this guy can escape his actions. And rightfully so. I think that this is, I condone this behavior. I think that this is a prescription to stop things. It's a public deterrent by mass. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, as a father, I gotta say that if anyone ever did that to my kid, well, I don't want to say it on here what I would do to that person, but I would just like to say that as a father, I think what happened to that guy was probably, I think that guy got off easy, is what I'm going to say.
He got a lot of grace. I'll admit, he got a lot of grace. The fact that he's still uttering words and able to, because that's the thing, though. Charlie Kirk doesn't have that ability to do this. While the left are losing jobs, they can't complain as much because they can get another job. Charlie Kirk can't get another life. This guy should be grateful that he has his life given. So this is a lot of grace, way more graceful, grace shown than a lot of fathers would give this man. So I'll give it up to him. But yeah, he probably may have. Well, I'm not going to say it on camera either, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, like I said, let's just say, yeah, he's pretty lucky that he got off this easy, because I don't know what I would do if that were me. But yeah, it's also another thing too. I think it says a lot that I think Americans are finally getting tired of this stuff, like especially after the stabbing of Irina Zanetsky, was her name right? And just this random like criminality that the Democrats have allowed to just flourish. And I think people are just kind of now, especially after the Charlie Kirk thing, are sick and tired of it. And they know the law is not always going to help them. And it's sad, it's sad because the law is supposed to help us, but we can't trust the people in charge nowadays.
Well, we have something right now. It's called black fatigue. And that's the thing, though. I've reached points of black exhaustion. There's a level beyond this. And I'm pretty sure there's a third level. I don't want to get to that right now. But here's the thing, though. People are complaining about this, saying it's a racial mantra now. Well, the problem with this is that when you look at these racial quote unquote mantras, it's like, oh, so how pissed are white people? How exhausted are they? Matter of fact, are they exhausted? We can't say we're exhausted as a culture when we got DEI. We've been let off certain programs. And not to mention that people clutch their purses when black culture runs around. I'm not making an accusation towards black people. It's the culture that I'm against. There's negative propaganda as this culture with your Cardi B's, this baby deletion culture. And not to mention that, but we've been getting off too long in society for too many too many excuses by saying we've been oppressed. That excuse is only going to last so long. People are equally so pissed off. They're upset and exhausted. This movie theater is a clear indication of the magnification of the exposure of what we've had. It's just an allowance that's been far too gone allowed. And now what's happening is an overcorrection that we're correcting ourselves by our own hand. And
Mhm.
yeah, you see this now.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you too. It's not like a black person thing. It's definitely a culture thing, and we do have to start calling it out, or else it's going to be like I talked about this on in my streams. It's going to be a never-ending cycle. I see videos of young children like who being encouraged by their their ghetto parents and stuff, and it's like these kids are now also going to grow up acting the same way. It's going to be a never-ending cycle, and it's just that's why we need to start calling this stuff out. And as a culture, like we get afraid of being called racist, but the thing is that we were allowed to call out white people for a bit. Remember, would there be a bunch of videos of like white people being racist, and it's like, oh, we need to teach white people not to be racist. It's like, okay, so if we could call out people's race groups or something, I don't see why we can't call out this ghetto culture that seems to how do you say dominate in the black community.
Well, here's my major problem. I'll just snip this in the bud right now. If a white person, if Charlie Kirk states stats and things that are 100% correct, he gets labeled a racist for saying this. If I say something or anybody else darker than me in the community said something, we're an Uncle Tom, we get pushback and we get told we hate ourselves and things like this. If black people, if Asian people of all, they say are the racists mostly, if racist people get, if this overlaying thing and label gets put on anybody and we get called hate, then who can correct black culture? That's the that's the question of the hour. Who can correct black culture? If blacks can't correct other blacks, if white people can't state facts in reality, they get deemed racist, then nobody can. Do you see how nonsensical this becomes? And that's the issue. But now we have things in this movie theater that are happening right now. Of course, this isn't a race issue, what's happening in this movie theater. It's just a common sense coming to light issue, and it's just public justice coming to fruition.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. Really well said. Dave asked, where was that thing in Arizona? I don't know what movie theater or what city it was at. It just says in an Arizona movie theater. So I don't know exactly where it was at.
I actually live here in Arizona, so it's not to dox myself. Arizona is pretty large. But the Charlie Memorial, the guy that just stepped all over there, if I had been there, it would have been like, you probably would have been a good wrestling promoter if you'd have seen what I have done during that time.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Another guy who I think got off easy as well, if you ask me. All right. So yeah, there's that. And speaking of never ending cycles, it's also, we've always heard about how it's like white liberal women too are the problem. And it's kind of I could kind of see why. Look at what these kids respond to when their mother tells them, hey, I got some good news.
Back. I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged. Back.
Yeah, and but they tell us the left doesn't incite violence or anything like that, right? They tell us, oh no, we don't incite. But look, they got their own kids. Like that's sad. Their own kids are guessing like people dying versus good news. And only for this wacko, sorry, real quick, but only for this wacko, then to announce her best friend, who she doesn't even know Taylor Swift, is getting married. And you can see the older daughter is like
Travis Kelce got engaged.
Even she was kind of like, okay. It's wild.
Yeah, I agree. So here's the heinous part about this. And we can't really overlook this. Notice how the mom didn't coach them to say Donald Trump passed away or Elon passed away. So this has been indoctrinated in their household before this even happened. This has been the public mainstay, like their landmark commonality in their household as speech. So that's what this indicates, which shows that this is even more heinous in the video. If you can really read between the lines, which it's overtly obvious here, that even though these kids weren't coached on video live to say this, well, I mean, not exactly live, but during this whole video, they were just saying this as if they were just programmed in this household to say this, which is just sick. So I was actually expecting for them to say Kirk's name, and they didn't say this. But you see how this liberal logic is almost expected. Like, we expect this to come from them at this point. Even I myself called myself for saying Charlie Kirk, and they didn't even say that. So I'm expecting this already. This is bad propaganda in this household already.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, like you said, they weren't coached or anything, which, like you said, that means she's going around telling her kids how Orange Man bad, JD Vance bad, all these people are already bad. And so I don't know where the father is, but I don't know if he's also if he's brainwashed or browbeaten too, but that's why they need a good man in there to snap this woman out of her nonsense, because this is dangerous for her daughters. Like, her daughters are going to grow up Looney Tunes as she is.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally setting up the next dating market for men. Like, these are the women that are going to be all over the dating market, running away everybody else. And I mean, it's no shock to me that this is happening right now. And these moms are also raising sons that these women will complain about in the dating market that they'll have to date, which are going to be more emotional, less controllable, and more liberal than ever. Basically, like the women that they want to be, which is insane.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like, no, these liberal white women are also a problem too. And that's, as you'll be seeing, as some of the other bookmarks I share. Let's see what else I got here. Already talked about that. Well, I bookmarked a lot. So let's see. I got to just pick one. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's almost endless content, to be honest with you. They'll never retire or run out of seamless content from their side.
Yeah, exactly. So this guy, I mean, it's not a liberal white woman, but still a liberal man, a soy boy, if you will, complaining that he got fired from his job. Probably got canceled by us. So let's see the result of our handiwork.
I got fired! I got me fired from my job! I woke up and told myself the shit from the Johnny Good shit from yesterday. What the fuck? I'm not paying my rent! What the fuck, y'all? I told y'all we did not get me fired when y'all did.
This is crazy. So hold on, you're giving yourself too much credit. Remember, this is by their hand. This is their doing. They literally weaponized the controlling of language and speech. So they're literally falling on their sword. So when you say, see our work, I would say actually that this is their work. They created this weapon that which they die by. And we can see this in action. And now we get to enjoy the fruits of their labor, actually. So I would say that actually.
Yeah, and they want us to feel bad for them when it's like, did they feel bad for us when we were getting canceled, getting debanked, deplatformed, all these things? They didn't care about us,
Yeah.
So, but now they expect us to care about them, like he can't pay his rent. It's like, oh, okay, well, you didn't care about these people when they couldn't pay their rent and stuff, So yeah.
It's funny.
Totally
When I was
ridiculous.
a kid, I got really pissed at a cactus because I threw a rock at it, right? The rock bounced off and hit me in the head. I was so pissed that I kicked this cactus as hard as it could. What do you think happened to my foot?
Yeah.
So this is liberal logic. This is what they've done. They're using the same weapon and saying, ha ha, I'm debanking you, deplatforming you, all this. But then when speech is banned and controlled by their part, now look what's happening to their livelihood. It's the same thing that happened to me as a kid with this cactus. Same logic. And we get to watch this with front row tickets. And literally, this is seasoning I can add to my popcorn. As I've said before, I get to enjoy this.
Yeah, hell yeah, seriously. It's always entertaining to watch. And like I said, I don't feel bad for them because they never felt bad for us. They completely reap what they sow. Let's see. See what this video. Do you think they're putting something in the nose rings, Martae? Because It seems like all these lunatics have the nose ring on there. Are there chemicals that are making these women libtarded? These people, I
No,
think.
I certainly think that there's a relation to cattle and human beings when they do this. It's almost like when you talk about sheep. How far off are we when we talk about sheep? I'm pretty sure in some culture they're doing the same thing with sheep with nose. So it's like the same thing. So you could notice this. There's liberal. I mean, I would say tells. We would call this. There's blue hair. I think that's one. I think there's massive chest tats. That's the other thing. And then you have this, the septum piercing. So if I was a National Geographic guy, the Steve Irwin of the conservatives, if you will, crikey, of course we see in the wild, the septum piercing. This species is erratic and mentally unstable. Look at this, if you will, but keep your distance. You don't want to be infected by this liberal logic. And that's literally what we're seeing right here. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They check off like all of the check marks, the stereotypes. They check off all of the boxes, and it never fails. That's why I was like, hey, RFK, maybe you should look at the chemicals they're putting in these nose rings, or the hair dye, or something. Something's going on there.
So a lot of people are getting death threats today, including me, and they posted pictures of my house because they know where I live. So that's cool. Just want to make it real clear that I've never had any thoughts to unalive myself. So a lot of people are getting death threats today.
Implying that, oh, she's going to get unalive. Yeah, no one's going to unalive you, honey, but we'll get you fired, though.
Yeah, I don't think conservative. Here's the thing, though. I will say this, and this is very funny. So if you think about this, if we switch Irina, I think that's her name on the bus or the tram, right? If we switch the genders, and I got so much vitriol for pointing this out. If it would have been a black woman on that bus, cities would have been burning down. Now, the difference is most conservatives actually have a 9 to 5 and jobs to go to. Whereas, nobody's going to take her out or delete her because people actually have jobs on this political side of the arena. On their side, they're getting fired, so they're going to have time to burn buildings down. So it would be their own people that have time to do this. I just wanted to point that out too.
Yeah, and another thing I want to point out is because the narrative they want to try to set is, oh, it's both sides. But listen, we have a lot of our own rhetoric too. Like we call them demoncrats. Like we think they're demons, right? Yet we're still not causing the amount of violence at all as they're causing to us. So no, it's not like the rhetoric or anything like that. There's something else that they're preaching, and I can't pinpoint what it is, but maybe you have some ideas. Like there's something in the rhetoric that they're saying that are driving these people mad.
Well, you have a lot of, I would say, white liberal women that are cosplaying and they're playing blackface, to be honest with you. That's literally what's happening. So they're identifying as black women and they're white women, which is the most nonsensical thing. And I will point out that I think that white guilt is a psyop. I don't think this exists. I think that this is spawned up by the left, the liberal media, and liberal women are adopting this mantra of self-hate culture. Now, this is being adopted by them. And I think they're literally creating poison and ingesting it themselves. That's what we're seeing. So when she says that she's going to get doxxed and she's going to get taken out and death threats and all this, it would be her own people doing this. You're talking about people that would eat themselves politically, like the household of the women that we saw. Those kids are going to be man eaters, literally society eaters, and hating themselves if they adopt this culture. So, I mean, we're seeing this play out in real time, and I think that the rest of the content is going to be semblances of this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too. Martae, our good friend Duck is in the chat here, huh? Did you see Duck? Duck is back. I guess he wanted to come back for more. I have no idea, but hey, hello, Duck. Good to see you back.
It's not the first time that I've had Duck roasted. Yeah, moving forward, this liberal nonsense is insane. And we're seeing it bleed throughout society. But I do believe that there's pushback because a lot of liberals on their side are converting over to our side. As I pointed out last night, and I think it was a debate on the tomato, I was saying that because of this happened, people are opening up Bibles for the first time ever, converting to Christianity in higher numbers than ever, and also converting to, I would say, the conservative side because they're sick of their own culture and the celebration of the death of Charlie Kirk, which is, I mean, should be demonized for sure if you celebrate death of any kind. So I think that, there is a demonic culture that's happening on that side, and rightfully so, we vilify it.
Yep, 100%. I think I'm going to go into one more bookmark and then we'll go into our first video of the day. And I think, like I was saying earlier, they try to say it's both sides, but actually, no, I got two more videos, but they try to say it's both sides. But look at the differences here of how we handle the like situations of one of ours gets unalived. Let me find the video here. You'll see there's a clear-cut difference that it's not just the rhetoric, it's not both sides. Like, no, there's one side that's definitely handles things better than the other. Let me sorry, I gotta try to find it. Did I not bookmark it? Come on.
I would argue to say that one side is more gainfully employed than the other side. So the other side has idle hands, which are of the devil on that side. So obviously somebody's got time to burn down buildings on their side, whereas we do not, for the most part, I would say conservatives in general.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is 100% true. And but we do have time to come out and show support like this.
Amazing grace, how sweet that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now was blind, but now I see.
Now, there's a video that I wanted to show that showed the contrast, which shows them just burning down buildings and such. This is not the one, but it sees how we handle things and what they do. We come out here to support and love one each other, support, you know, our fallen Charlie Kirk, where they just go and destroy. And so I just want to say, like, no, we are not the same.
Well, you can see the contrast here in this video. Speaking of contrast, I want you to look at the landscape, if you will, and notice, do you see any blue hair anywhere? Do you see any massive fats anywhere? Do you see sagging pants? Do you see any semblances of this culture that I was describing? No, it's totally devoid of this. This is why when people move to a suburb neighborhood, they're not leaving a certain people, they're leaving a certain culture. This is the culture that we want, that perpetuates, I think, a forgiving society of, and that's the thing though, that culture doesn't have nuance at all. This content, this culture is full of nuance and full of contextual awareness. And not to mention this, but I mean, not only do we have self-awareness, we have something that's devoid of that culture, accountability. And if you notice, no blue hair, no chest piercings, no tattoos or any of this stuff. So
yeah, that's actually an excellent point. Yeah, you won't be seeing, you don't see no blue hair, no nothing. Yeah, it's definitely a cultural thing. And so yeah, I just wanted to show that contrast there. And final video, this was requested to me from Slave of Christ 74. This is a man, this is one is, we'll leave it on a good note here. This is a man whose wife bought him a new suit, and let's hear him talking about his new suit.
You know, I don't come from any kind of money, and I've never owned a suit before. My wife, she bought me this suit. Our anniversary's coming up, and we have a nice anniversary plan. You know, we make a little bit of money now, and I'm proud to say that, because that's certainly not where either one of us comes from. And I feel good in this suit, man. And I just want my wife to know she made me feel good. It's a $300 suit. I ain't never had nothing like this before in my life. And I tell you what, okay, video flip here, so I'm going to lose some of you. I didn't know Charlie Kirk, never met that guy before in my life. And something else that I've never done before in my life is believe in God. I'm going to wear this suit to church. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to try to be a better father, husband, and leader for my family. They deserve that. My phone fell down. I guess that's the devil trying to fuck me up or mess me up right now. I'm gonna try, y'all. Look at this suit. I look good, bro. My wife made me feel this way. Charlie's made me feel this way. Yeah. Message over.
Now I'm glad that Slave of Christ requested that, because that was actually a really wholesome video, and you could see how choked up he is. You know, he came from nothing, his wife came from nothing. You could tell he worked hard all his life, and for him to get this suit and inspiring him to go back to church, be a better father and husband and stuff, I found that like incredibly wholesome, you know.
Yeah, you would see something. There's a contrast here that I could point out too. Notice how the man here is not only humble, but grateful, and also pointing to, we can say that this video is pointing to family values. It's pointing to maybe a conservative culture, meaning that we want to conserve values and preserve values in society. And that's what this is beckoning to. Another thing I'll say on the last note is, if you notice that on the flip side in a different universe, the pants would be sagging. He'd show off gold chains with the $300. One person in both universe is hireable to any kind of job you'd find. The other one would not be gainfully employed. So there's a distinction in culture that we can see as well too. But I'm happy. This brings warmness to my heart, and I like seeing this stuff. This is good, and this is what we want to project from our side of the spectrum as well too.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's the thing too. You know, Charlie Kirk inspiring a lot of people. He's bringing a whole new group of people to the church, to Christ, which is a beautiful thing. That's a great and amazing thing. You know, God bless. And also too, you know, like you know, you got Charlie Kirk here who's inspiring all these great things for people. Like, you've had that feeling where it's like, you know, even though we didn't know Charlie personally or anything, never met him, it still felt like someone we knew, you know, like died. Like, that's how I've been mourning him. I've heard a lot of people like that, I'm sure you have too, of saying the same thing. And the thing is that that's one of our people that died, but one of their people that they claim, like, let's say a George Floyd, has he ever inspired this? Did George Floyd inspire this from people? Did he inspire people to get a new suit, go back to church, or anything like that?
You're talking about the Patsy, the black patron saint who's been adopted by the black community, which I think is awful. I don't think that this is a good example. If you look at one, you're talking about a man who's left a culture. Speaking of which, I'm going to say this real quick. I was leaving school. Remember when I said I'd have to postpone this for a little bit later? As I was leaving school, this guy stopped me. And I think it was like the administration. The weirdest thing just happened to me when I was coming here, and said, "You're the debate guy, right?" It's like, of course, you don't know my name, but obviously they probably see me somewhere. And I said, "Why, yes, I am." They said, "I'm sorry for your loss." And I said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Oh, Charlie Kirk." This lets you know two things. This lets you know that Charlie Kirk has established a culture of us fighting back in the trenches against nonsense, using our words, lingo, propaganda, and debate. The other thing too is also, this is also publicized this and let them know that we are in the fight and we are leaving a lasting legacy in a fight that must continue on his behalf as well too. This stuck it out to me, even though they don't know my name. They said, "You're the," and it stood out.
Yeah.
So just like this guy, this left a lasting impression on him as well too, with the $300 suit coming from nothing. So you could tell that this is not only infectious propaganda, that's also good for society, and a wholesome video at that. But yes, this is good nature that we want to see reflected on the society, that we want to see for the kids and children and generations that we can leave behind before us.
Yeah, well said. Perfectly well said. That's that's funny though. So what do you think, they seen your YouTube, or do you like what happened?
I didn't even ask them. They said, "Oh, so you're the they said, you're the debate guy, right?" That's all these. I didn't ask because I was rushing
yeah.
home and I had to do the co-host thing. And he said,
Yeah.
"You're the debate guy." And as I was walking, I said, "Yeah." They said, "I'm sorry for your loss." And I was puzzled because honestly, I didn't know what they were talking about. And they mentioned Charlie Kirk. And I said, "Oh, yeah, that." And of course, I'm going to stay an extra 5 minutes and talk to them. But yeah, that was but as you can see that everybody else is acknowledging this, and rightfully so. There are warriors that are gladiators that are in these trenches fighting, doxing themselves because as you are, you're showing your full face on camera, not showing yourself as an anonymous person. And I applaud you for this as well, too, on the front lines, covering our debates as well, too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I want to help promote you guys. I want to promote just, Christianity, this ideology, everything, because like this is, I know we use the term culture war a lot, but we are in a battle. We are in a war for our future and stuff, not just for ourselves, but for our children and such. So I take this very seriously. So I want to push, you, Andrew, like all of you people, because I think you guys are doing good stuff in changing the minds.
I'll tell you one thing, though. If there's a debate, I don't run from it. As soon as I think it was Wick who posited the Destiny debate, I was the first person that said yes. And then he said, who wants to go first? I said, yes, I'll go first. I said, I want a dramatic, exciting debate there, and I want to hit him the hardest. And Wick said, okay, we'll have it happen. Anytime a debate by anybody liberal on the left who has an ideology that I want to dispose of and eviscerate and destroy, I'll happily take this. Even if somebody says you're going to lose because it's a professor or some journalist who you've seen me debate before, I'll take it, because what's the worst is going to happen? I learn from a loss if it ever happens. So I think that that's the difference. They aren't willing to learn from losses. In fact, they approach us with bitterness as we approach with a grace, humility, holding the giant flaming sword of Christ and who we want in battle. And that's the distinction between our side and their side. So.
Yeah, they really don't learn, by the way. I mean, especially lately, it seems like all of the people who debate Andrew, they all make the same exact mistakes, and then they'll sit there and play the meta like, well, Andrew, you do this, you do that. And I'm like, well, instead of like playing in the meta, why don't you actually, like, if you know Andrew does these things, then why don't you learn comebacks for it? Why don't you actually do more of your homework then? It's like if you're training for a fight or something, in the middle fight, you don't just say, hey, I know that when I throw this right hook, you're going to duck and throw a left hook. You want to do that. You would just learn how to come back against it, fight back against it, defend yourself against it. But these, like you said, these lefties, they never learn. They are not humble. They think they know everything, and they just want to lecture us.
I was laughing. It's funny you say that, because I saw my timeline. Of course, Sarah Tomato, she has debates coming up. And I saw a guy that keeps showing up in Christian nationalist debates. I'm pretty sure you know I'm hitting at right now. And Wick got eviscerated. I'm just going to say this. He can come at me in the DMs all he wants to. I'll just debate him again. And Andrew eviscerated him. Then I eviscerated him with Eli. He's doing a Christian nationalist. So when it comes to learning about things, it's like, obviously, he must be in a BDSM or torture debate, some kind of fetish. But because, I mean, obviously, I don't know whether he's not willing to learn, but this is happening, and we're seeing this happen for the third time tonight. Matter of fact, the debate's happening. He's covering the same topic that's adjacent, and I think that's hilarious. So.
Well, I think it's even more hilarious because the prompt was, what is it? Is Christian nationalism, does it go with Christianity or something? That's
society, something like that. Yeah, with nationalism.
Yeah, and I was like, well, that's the same prompt that he wanted to do with Andrew. That like, it was pretty much like the argument he was trying to make with Andrew, which didn't matter because that wasn't even the prompt. So it doesn't even matter if he was right or not. It wasn't the prompt.
Yes. You see how this is adjacent? Christianity and nationalism was in Andrew's debate, who he got eviscerated by, in my debate, who he lost with. Now he's going into Jim Bob. Yeah, good luck, bro. And Steelborn. Yeah, good luck, man. I'm going to watch with popcorn. Obviously, it's like when you watch a Tyson fight and you already know who's going to win, but you're going to watch the 2 minutes because that's all it ever lasted. It's the same thing that's going to happen. I mean, I'm just going to call it like I see it. I mean, it's not ruining the movie to tell me what happens at the end, but I'm still going to watch because of the blood fest that's going to happen. Hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you go in there, it's like when you would watch a Tyson fight, it's like, oh, Tyson's gonna fucking beat the crap out of this guy, so you're just gonna watch because that's what you want to see, and that's what pretty much it's gonna be. And yeah, Wick, I think you're right. Wick and all these people, I think they do have a humiliation fetish or something like that. Something going on there. Say that one more time.
Yeah, it must be that. It's like the guy that shows up to the date knowing he's going to get exploited for a $500 dinner date, knowing she's not going to call you back the next day. And Wick's like, okay, I'm just going to take the third date with this person who also has the same belief system. This doesn't make any sense. It's definitely a humiliation ritual at this point, if it's not obvious already.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I'm definitely gonna be watching that. I'm definitely gonna review it here on the channel. So that's gonna be a good one. Um, all right. So we're done with the bookmarks for today. So before we go, let's see. We could watch Andrew wreck some people first, and then we'll watch you wreck some people. That sounds pretty good, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it sounds good. Watching Andrew is always a good entertainment spectacle to watch, almost like watching gladiators in arena take heads off and you're just eating popcorn with the family. It's just a regular family event, only there's just so much blood flying everywhere and body parts. It's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into that, let's shill for a little bit. So you guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel. You'll be helping me out a lot. And also make sure you hit that like button. That'll help me out as well. And let's see, what else? Become a member too to my channel. You'll get custom emojis, you get access to the previous live streams, and I shout you out when I see you on the channel. Now, Martae, what would you like to plug?
You can go ahead and follow me on the Edge, Martae Raylis. You can look me up. I'm also, my name's in the title as well too. You can follow me on X at Mighty Martae. Actually, that would be what is it, Mighty Martae, I think, and then _, the real Mighty Mouse on Instagram. Also, I have a Give Send Go because I love to go to DebateCon and meet people in person. That would be great too. That's also going to be on my X, and maybe we'll post that in the comments here too. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, anything you want me to post in the comments or whatever, you could send it my way. I'll post those links and I could even put them up on the screen for you too. So anything you want me to plug, feel free to send them to me. Everyone watching right now, this is on the this is Martae's YouTube channel. So please give him a subscribe. Let's help him out. I want to help get Martae monetized, so let's help him out, guys. He does a good job. He's always streaming his debates. He's always uploading clips to his channel. So if you like his debate style, which I do, I would recommend subscribing to his channel. So yeah, there you go. Now we've done that. Let me look up. What is it on Piers Morgan?
I sent you the Give Send Go link. It's to the X. I just DM'd it there, but hold on.
Okay.
For here anyways, hold on.
Yeah, thank you, James. Yes, also smash that like button. Is Duck still in the chat, guys? I kind of see you guys going back and forth. Duck's another one. Seems like he's a glutton for punishment. He seems like because imagine he got eviscerated the last time on the stream, not just by me, but the comments as well, and he came back for more. So I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I mean, it must be a one of those humiliation things as well too. But I mean, that's the thing. I can't blame him because I think that we all need there's so much I could say here, but I don't want to just be the what. I think we need practice dummies, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. We have free speech, and who am I to go ahead and tell him that he can't be crazy all over online? Because I mean, easy targets are everywhere. I mean, so I'll have practice with whoever.
Yeah. Oh, you timed him out, changed for 24 hours. Why? What did he do? Was he going overboard? Yeah. All right. So here.
I posted
okay.
private chat also too. That's the Give Send Go for the DebateCon thing. But anyways, let's get back to this.
Yeah, for sure. Here, I'll post it up in the comments right here. Let's see, paste. So this is Martae's Give Send Go right here. So if you want to donate to Martae to help him get to DebateCon, then there you go. That's how you could do it. Let's see. No, we timed that tart out. We couldn't stand him passing Charlie anymore. Yeah. Well, listen. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. You know, like he wants. Some people just kind of want to come on and just be agitators. You know what I mean? And right now, that's the easiest. That's the easiest thing to go for. You know, is the Charlie Kirk stuff. All right.
Jasmine.
Let's see. Charlie Kirk debate causes guests to storm out. Oh, I wonder who it is. Oh, dude, I want to see Andrew Wilson ripping Anna Kasparian. It's dude, I'm like excited right now. Are you ready, Martae?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Bigger issue that we have, not just in this country, but I'm seeing it happen globally, where there's just this dehumanization of people based on their political views. And on top of that, the devaluing of human life, right? I mean, we've been seeing images of people being butchered, children being butchered endlessly on social media over the last nearly 2 years. Prior to that, I mean, the rhetoric that devalues human life, I think, has played a role into it. But also, I just think that there's this dumb idea that all you need to do is like get rid of or take out some of the prominent figures on the political side of the aisle that you disagree with, and that'll somehow solve the issue. No, that doesn't solve the issue. What it does is it makes the situation in various countries where this type of political violence plays out far worse. Now you're hearing talk of retaliation in a violent way. When it comes to the Trump administration, you're hearing, policies that are being proposed that would limit the legitimate political speech of Americans. I am concerned about that. What that disgusting murderer did is he pushed for this country to devolve further. And I wish that cooler heads would prevail, but at the same time, I don't begrudge people who are angry. I mean, that poor wife and her 2 children witnessed Charlie Kirk get shot and killed in the neck. I don't begrudge her at all for being furious. No. I can't even imagine where my headspace would be at right now if that happened to my husband.
Right. Andrew Wilson, where were you when you heard about Charlie Kirk, and what is your view of the fallout from this?
Yeah, I was sitting with my wife watching TV. So the thing is I remember this picture circulating around of Charlie Kirk. He was debating the incoming president of the Oxford Union, and they were all smiles and handshakes. And by the next day, this guy was saying the most insane rhetoric about how he basically had it coming. So how many of these leftists have murderous intent? When we show up to have a conversation with them, we show up to debate our views, we show up to in some way engage with them. How many of them have seething murderous intent behind their eyes, and they don't really want to do any of that? They really want you dead. And that is the biggest demonstration of that, by the way, in that one single picture. You have Anna Kasparian here, and she's talking about this. The Young Turks called Charlie Kirk a fascist how many times? The Young Turks played into this rhetoric how much? They went out of their way to do so. Reuben recently called him out for doing it. So I just hang on.
I've literally never. I don't even call Trump a fascist.
I didn't interrupt you once.
Now, Martae, listen, I don't have video evidence off the top of my head of her doing that, but come on, I'm pretty sure they have. Like, remember, like when after Trump got elected, Anna Kasparian sitting, she told women that voted for Trump, "I am better than you." So, do you believe that?
It's hard to believe. Now, recently, I'll give her like maybe a sliver of turning more conservative, but the problem with this is I have high distrust when it comes from women on the liberal left. To be honest with you, I don't trust this because she's been on the left so long and uttered the same mantra, but now she's saying, no, I didn't say any of this. I'm very reluctant to believe any of this because of what she said in the past. That's adjacent to saying, no, this is bad, Trump bad, evil right. So it's like if you're on this side, you're on the fringe. It's like, yeah, you're bad until proven right. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Anna has moved toward like less left, if you will. Her and Jink have been trying to move to less left, but I don't trust them. And the thing is, this is how I trust them. I want apologies for them because their rhetoric has contributed to this. So I don't want just them going, oh, it's horrible, it's wrong. I want them to apologize because they contributed to this, definitely. Oh yeah, James, you could go ahead and unblock Duck if everyone wants that. It doesn't matter as long as he's not doing anything to sabotage the stream or anything. It's fine.
Once, lady,
But
you'll
you
have a
can't
chance
make
to
things
talk.
up about what I've said about
You
Charlie
can talk
Kirk.
when I'm done talking, like I was respectful enough to let you do. So the thing is like, yes, they do. This network does do that, and these leftists do that, and they set all the rhetoric up in the world to make sure something like this happened, and they were dancing on the grave of this guy before he was even cold. I have tweets from Destiny which are insane. The leftists have gone off the reservation, and it's time for us to stop pretending that it's not their rhetoric which is leading to these types of assassinations, because it is. I don't want to hear about factions. All of you guys are doing this. All of you guys have the same type of rhetoric which leads to this, or the networks you work for do.
Well, Anna, let you respond to that before I bring Cornell
I've never called him. I have never called Charlie Kirk a fascist, number one. In fact, if anything, we have received a tremendous amount. I don't remember Trump. I don't remember Cenk calling Charlie Kirk a fascist. In fact, Cenk and I got into a debate about whether or not, hold on. I don't remember Cenk calling Charlie Kirk a fascist. He called Trump a fascist, and he and I got into a debate about that. But to lump in everyone on the left together, I don't agree with Destiny on anything these days. Destiny is totally unhinged in his rhetoric, 100%. I have been critical of Charlie Kirk's political views, but going around referring to people as Nazis, turning the temperature up, I did not engage in that. So I just want you to at least be fair about what I've actually said about Charlie
There's no
Kirk.
actual reason for us to believe leftists at this point. It's very clear that while they come out with a handshake and wanting to have these conversations, they claim, right? In reality, what they're doing is they have murderous intent, and they'll celebrate you the day that you die. The next day, they'll go after your wife. Thousands of social media accounts going after her wife, or this guy's wife, after she made a speech about her poor husband. Yes, it is your side that's doing that. Like it or not, it's your side that's doing that. There's no equivalency between the right and the left on this. Yeah, okay, fine. You're not a leftist. I'm sorry. Are you on the left wing? Are you a Democrat? Are you more of a Democrat than you are a Republican? Do you move towards those types of
I'm
issues?
not a Democrat. I actually registered as an independent.
Fine. You register as an independent.
Come on, you gotta at least know what my views are if you're going to attack me.
All right, let me bring in. All right, let me bring in.
I've been attacked by the left over the last 3 years.
All right, let me bring in.
No.
Look.
I've been attacked by the left. No. Let me just at least address that. I've been attacked viciously by leftists over the last 3 years because of the fact that I want to engage in this type of dialogue, because of the fact I was willing to sit down with Charlie Kirk and with Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro. I'm willing to have conversations, and I don't go around labeling people as fascist and racist and Nazis just because I disagree with them.
Not anymore.
So just at least understand what my political views are. Listen, I'm not going to be blamed for what everyone in that company has to say. Anyone in that company has to say. I'm an individual. We are supposed to judge people based on individuals. He did not go around calling Charlie Kirk a fascist and a Nazi.
Saying that you don't have good reasoning skills. If it's the case that you think, oh my God, you can't be calling people Nazis. You can't be calling people Nazis while your boss does all the time.
Why are you making that up? You're just making it up. You're just making it up. We're all the same. That's how simple-minded you are. You're all the same. Okay, then everyone on the right is just like Dylan Roof.
All right. Let me bring in. I want to bring in Cornell West. I want to bring in Cornell West. I want to bring in Cornell.
That was great. See, this is why I love Andrew, because these are the things that I would love to tell Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, all of these things. Because here's the thing, like she might have like, oh, well, I'm no longer a leftist, but she was. And for the longest time, she was participating in this very same rhetoric. Both her and Cenk were participating in this rhetoric. And just because they move slightly more to the center, it doesn't absolve them from all the previous rhetoric. I don't know. What do you think about that, Martae?
I think that if you have a snake in a basket that moves slightly more towards your direction, it's still a snake in a basket. And here's the thing, though. Cenk is a vile person. I mean, there's a good reason why the Crucible calls him chunk yogurt. The reason why is because not only are they vilified for saying this and uttering this culture nonsense of Trump being this. I mean, it's not far-fetched for of anybody to say that she's redeemed in any slight. Like you said, I'd love to hear a response of an apology from her or Cenk, but I doubt we'd hear any of this because all they do is push back and deny. That's all they do. And all I hear is bitterness from their side and no redemption because they'll never ask for forgiveness for any of this rhetoric that they've espoused to have.
Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. That's why I'm like, no, none of this, no more. It's like, well, I condemn this. It's like, no, I want an apology because all of you guys are like, you guys added to this. They were always telling their audience for years the Nazi fascism stuff. Just because they don't do it anymore doesn't mean at one point they didn't. So that's what I would have.
We can literally look up videos of Cenk uttering this and repeating this ad nauseum on the Young Turks, often, matter of fact. And then here's the thing, though. She's complicit because let's say she didn't ever utter any of this. She has been on panels as he's uttered this and nodded to her head. To me, that's language and also ushering in the semblance of, hey, I'm promoting this by, association. I'm on this panel. You're my boss, and I'm going to nod my head as Cenk said this. That's a problem. You can't say that you're not saying this while nodding your head to Cenk uttering this nonsense. To me, that's just stupidity and obfuscation to me.
Exactly, 100%.
Wait,
shut up,
please
lady.
let Cornell come in now.
Shut
He's
up,
been
lady.
waiting very patiently. Cornell, welcome back to Uncensored, where things are getting incendiary quite quickly. I think the overriding point I would make about the debate we've just been hearing between Andrew and Anna is that there is little doubt to me that the constant rhetoric on the left, the woke left, let me be specific to where I think a lot of the blame lies, ever since Donald Trump came into power in 2016, has been this relentless use of the phrases Hitler, Nazis, fascists about Trump and about Trump supporters. And the problem with constantly saying this as a group, as the woke left have done for 9 years now, is that eventually it permeates down to young, impressionable minds who genuinely believe that it is their mission to stop America from being taken over by the new Nazis or the new fascists or the new Hitler. And that leads to the kind of thing we saw with Charlie Kirk. Do you agree that this language, this relentless, in my view, woeful misuse, particularly of the word Nazi towards Trump and his supporters, this is part of the problem?
Well, I think part of the deeper problem, though, Brother Pierce, is that the organized greed and weaponized hatred and routinized indifference toward the vulnerable has come together in such a way that it has eroded the sources of character formation, so that integrity, honesty, decency, and self-critical sensibilities of individuals and groups is more and more disappearing. So you end up with because hatred itself is promiscuous, just like greed, just like indifference toward the suffering of others. It's promiscuous. It will lie with the left, right, center. It lies with Christians. It lies with Muslims. It lies with Jews. It lies with Buddhists. It lies with Hindus. And human beings were so wretched in the first place. If we don't undergo some kind of spiritual and moral cultivation, we end up falling back on greed and hatred and indifference. And I mean, the American empire at this moment is one in which the lethal combination of the hatred and the greed and the indifference generates very much the exchange that we just saw. You see, this brother right here says, well, all leftists want to see me dead. Well, I'm a leftist. I don't want to see you dead. I'm a Christian.
You call Trump's administration a neo-fascist movement, you lunatic. People have gone out
You're
of your
absolutely
way.
right.
You have gone out of your way.
Let me make the
to
case.
do everything
Let me
possible to
make the
cultivate
case.
this.
Let me make the case.
Oh, yeah,
Will you
just
allow
made
me to
your
speak,
case.
brother? Come
You
on,
just
man.
made your
Come on.
case.
No, you haven't made the case. If you think I've made the case, then you're not interested in dialogue.
You just said this brother over here said this.
You're very, very different than Brother Charlie, man. You're very different than Charlie, though, man. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I can make the case for that,
people
too.
like you that got that man killed, sir.
No. There are such a thing as neo-fascists. But Pierce, why you have a brother on who's not going to allow nobody to speak, man? We're just wasting time. If all you're interested in is making your money and you bring this brother on it and nobody can say a word and we can't even mourn Brother Charlie passing. I had dialogues with Brother Charlie. This brother's going to say, oh, this kumbaya and so forth. No, Charlie was made in the image of a loving and mighty God. I believe that. I say my prayers for Sister Erica and the kids because this brother wants to trash my Christian sensibility. And look at him laughing now. It's a joke, man. Pierce, it's not worth it. The dialogue is not worth it.
Oh shit, rage quit.
Not with this brother.
Is he part of your
Listen,
neo-fascist
not with
movement?
this brother.
Yeah.
When
Run
Charlie himself says that he is against Civil Rights Act, does that make him a proponent of Jim Crow? When he calls Martin Luther King Jr. an awful human being and a scumbag? I'm critical of that. I am critical of that. You're absolutely right, Brother Wilson. You're absolutely right. But if all you're going to do is be arrogant, you're arrogant just like the so-called leftists you're talking about. But Pierce, you making your money, brother. Go on and make your money, man.
Dude, you know what? Oh, go ahead, Martae. You can start it off.
So Cornel West is blatantly wrong here. Here's the problem with his side. And this is what I'm going to point out. On their side, they're playing a word shell game. If I can get away with calling people schnazis to the point to where the words are meaningless, therefore calling somebody racist and calling them neo-Nazis or anything like this is also meaningless. He's also saying that his words don't do anything. Mind you, pay attention to the last of the reel when he was saying, well, he keeps interrupting me as he wasn't interrupted, and using this time to talk about how he was interrupted while using word shell games that we were talking about in the same rhetoric that he's accusing them of, he himself has done. He doesn't like being pointed out for having the same rhetoric by Wilson himself. This is hilarious because he's pointing a mirror up to them and showing them, hey, this is your rhetoric as you accuse me of doing what you're doing yourself, which is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And what the thing is about these crazy lefties, like this happened to Cenk too when Dave Rubin confronted him on Piers, is that they'll be like, well, didn't you call Donald Trump a fascist regime? Like at first they'll be like, I never said these bad things. I don't wish death. And then we'll be like, well, didn't you say this about Trump's regime and Donald Trump and stuff? They're like, well, yeah, absolutely. I did because he is. It's like, you guys don't even know how psychotic you are. You guys really believe these things. So to them, they don't think they're lying or spreading propaganda. They just think they're telling the truth. You know, they're so far gone.
That's because they've uttered these words so much that they're meaningless. So if I call somebody a racist so many times, guess what? It's almost like a crazy ex who says her boyfriend's a narcissist. Now all of a sudden you're making the word so meaningless when less than the 4% of the population are actually diagnosed narcissists. So if I do the same thing with calling people Nazis and calling them all these political taglines, guess what's going to happen? They figure they're meaningless so they can go ahead and use a broad stroke with language and hide behind these words that they've uttered. Yet when Wilson, I mean, rightfully so, magnifies and corrects the record on this, they get really pissed because they see themselves by Wilson's words. I think that this is justice, and I love to see it.
Hell yeah. Let's see if this guy actually, let's see if Andrew gets this guy to successfully walk off.
This is not worth it. This brother right here is part of the problem. This other brother who has a deep connection to Charlie, he's willing to at least listen, but this brother's not willing to listen.
Cornel, can you sit down? I would like you to remain part of the debate.
This is ridiculous.
Dude.
This is ridiculous. He's smoking his cigarettes with his arrogant self. Come on, man. We don't have enough dialogue at all.
Surely you're not going to walk out in a debate about dialogue.
Go on and make your money, man.
Right.
Damn.
Well, there's a kind of farcical to quit a debate where we're literally debating about the importance of free speech and being able to listen to each other.
These people, they can't handle being confronted with the stuff that they do. They can't handle it, you know?
There's two things that happen here, which I noticed. He started pointing out, how come you're not acting like this guy who's not correcting me on the truth? That was the funniest thing. I was like, oh, so you want me to be silent like this guy who hasn't uttered a word in correcting the record? And here's the thing that happens in debates all the time. When you're losing a debate, you're just going to point out to other things that have nothing to do with the picture, like the cigarette in my hand. So to me, this is classic textbook losing a debate. And then the third thing, rage quitting, as we see here. So I need popcorn for this, but this is fine. I'll do without.
Yeah, hell yeah. And now I'm hearing from the chat that it gets better because I guess Destiny comes in. Now enters the Coomer Gremlin. So I think things are about to get really good now. Let's see what happens.
I haven't seen this, so this is even better. I love it.
Yeah, same here. I haven't seen this either. I'm just going by what my chat's telling me, but I'm excited. Let's see what happens.
Those opinions, which seems to me completely insane. Anyway, we've lost Cornel West for now. Maybe we'll get him back. Well, Andrew Wilson referred to Destiny's insane tweets a little earlier, which were disavowed by Anna Kasparian. Well, Destiny joins us now. Destiny, you've been quite active on social media since Charlie Kirk's death. When Erica Kirk posted Charlie's coffin, you responded, she tagged him, brackets, crying face emojis. In response to Alina Haber's tweet ordering people to fly their flags at half-mast in memory of Charlie, you posted on X, buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday, ending every conservative debate call out I'd do in 2026 with "Don't dodge, bro." That's not what Charlie would have wanted. I mean, do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are 10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. All of the recent political violence that's happened in this country over the past 20 years, the majority of it, the overwhelming majority of it, everybody gets mad because they keep asking Grok about it, has been conservative.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old
guy
white
described.
dude. He wasn't trans. He didn't have a trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear, the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a left.
Real quick, Martae, thank you very much for the $5 dono, man. Much appreciated. Hell yeah. But I gotta ask this because I'm just wondering, you know, Destiny, his go-to is it's always just to blame Trump. Like, I always thought, like, I've always wondered, like, is he just a troll, like a grifting troll? Like, I'm not saying he's really a fan of Trump and he's just covering it up. Like, I'm sure he doesn't like Trump, but do you think it's TDS or do you think he's just trying to troll? Like, what do you like get a rise out of people? Like, what do you think it is?
I think that Destiny has created a platform and also grounding for himself, and he must stick to this. I think that if he goes away from this and doesn't inch away like the Anna Kasparians of the world, he'll be a contrarian, a literal walking contrarian. Right now, he's in enough hot water as it is right now, and I think he's just going to dig his feet in the ground. I think he's one of these people that I'm not going to accuse him of putting his head in the sand, but he's going to dig his head in the ground. He does the same thing with debates, and he's going to do this with his rhetoric. He doesn't want to move from this because he's afraid that he's going to be called a contrarian and move away from his whole fan base. So, I mean, I think that that's part and parcel to what it is. As far as like his mindset, knowing that where his stance is, I don't actually presume to know, but it's just nonsense. He's going to get destroyed every nook and cranny where it comes to this rhetoric. It's going to fall every time by Wilson's hand or my hand or Rob Noor's hand. So,
yeah, exactly.
This ideology which drove him to do this. That's just.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. When?
Yesterday, you said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college?
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know.
What you just said is not true.
The very reasonable sounding governor of Utah has made it clear that the you may not want to hear this.
Ongoing investigation.
You may not want to hear it, Destiny. But the reality is, the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just ask you.
That's just not true.
Let me just ask you.
There's no way to deal with it.
Okay, you're accusing the governor of lying. Yeah. That's your prerogative. But sure. If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why
tell
would you
his side
expect
to calm
anybody,
down?
Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't
Can
Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent?
Why do you
can't
think
Trump say that?
Why do you
Why
think
is your
Trump say that?
behavior
I feel like
contingent
I'm
on Donald Trump?
insane right now.
Why
do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me ask a question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the opposing
Destiny.
political party.
Destiny. Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been
responsibility
broken by
to
online
not turn.
rhetoric.
No,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't been
been
broken. I actually
destroyed
care
because
about the
people
country
bully you on
and want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
If
You
then
do the
you should tell
opposite.
Donald
You
Trump to
represent
tell
the
people
worst
to
of us,
be
Destiny.
less
You're
violent.
embarrassing.
You should tell
You're
Donald.
embarrassing.
All right, let me ask
Watch how
Destiny
easy
a
this is.
question.
Watch how easy this
No,
is.
hang on.
If
Don't
Trump
all shut
would've
at
come out
once,
and say-
please.
If Donald Trump would have come out
Destiny,
and say, hey, we should all be less violent,
Destiny,
I have no problem saying
I have one
absolutely.
question for you,
Why
Destiny.
can't conservatives do that? Why can't
Destiny,
conservatives do that?
Destiny, I have a question for you. Why do you think in your campaign for everyone to dial down the temperature, why do you think that mocking the grieving widow of Charlie Kirk when she posts an image of her at the coffin side, why do you think that constitutes turning down the temperature?
You can't turn down the temperature on your own. The president of the United States is
inflame the
not
temperature.
able
You're
to-
mocking
No,
his
it's already
widow.
inflamed.
You're
What are you
mocking his
talking
widow.
about? We've had multiple political assassinations over the past year. What do you mean it's turning up the temperature?
Why did you
to
mock
fight
his
somebody
widow?
online? Because
Why
she's
did you
being
mock his widow?
redemonized. She's
Notice like because he just likes to default to like oh well, Trump's the president, so he has to turn it down. However, when Biden was president and Donald Trump almost got assassinated, Destiny wasn't on here saying, well, Joe Biden needs to turn down the temperature. He was still blaming it on Trump. Like, well, that's what you get. Like, no matter what with Destiny, he just, orange man bad.
Destiny is just liberal gasoline. Remember when he was making fun of the firefighter who passed away? I can name several instances where he's fanned the flames himself, but what he's going to do is very slick. He's a slimy Coomer gremlin. He'll slither away from his own accusations into his own doing in this and then obfuscate and then also point the blame at somebody else. Matter of fact, name one time in this whole debate when Donald Trump's name was brought up. Nobody ever brought it up but him. What he likes to do is move this goalpost. He's a constant goalpost mover. He's done this in my debate with him, and he does this here. It's a classic move by him, and it's very slimy. This is what he does, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Very slimy indeed.
because she's being used as a political weapon right now for conservatives to continue their fight. What do you mean, wow? She's literally doing
her husband just got murdered
on email. Yeah, and she's using it to drive up recruitment for
and
a
you
political
can't even
movement.
condemn the murder. You won't condemn it.
Can't even tell his side.
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump that you cannot condemn the
unhinged.
murder
It is such
because
a
you're
joke,
waiting
and
for
you guys
Donald
sit here
Trump
and
to say
make money
something.
off of it. It's
All right, let me bring
crazy
in
to me that
Jack.
Republicans can't
Let me
do
bring
it.
in. Let me bring in Jack Posobiec. I got to say,
there's still no answer to that question, Piers. You can't say
which question?
Why can't Donald Trump simply go on TV and say,
Oh my
we
gosh.
all need to turn it down?
Fine.
Like Biden could, like Obama could,
Fine.
like the Clintons could, like Kamala could. Why
Fine.
not?
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie
it's
Kirk?
unbelievable. I'm not the president
Why
of the United
can't
States.
you
answer that
condemn
question.
the
It's
murder of Charlie Kirk?
Unbelievable to me.
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because it wasn't my side that caused it. It should
Yes,
be the
it
one
was.
that is driving up
It
the
actually
rhetoric.
was your side that caused it. It was your side.
This guy was raised in a white
He was
Christian
a
household,
radicalized
in a Christian
leftist
state.
ideology.
He wasn't radicalized by leftism.
Oh, by the way, Martae, I think it's funny that I think it's funny this big self-own when they're like, it's not on our side. This guy was raised in a nice Christian family.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, Morgan is begging him, pleading him to come out with any condemnation for this. In Destiny, like I said, he's not digging his head in the sand or putting his head in the sand. He's digging his feet in the ground even further. He's reiterating my whole emphasis of what I'm saying, of him not budging. Like I said, so when you talk about my belief, if he really believes these lies that he tells, I don't know this because I can't presume to know his mind, but we're seeing this live in real time right now, both you and me, him digging his feet, not budging from even condemning the murder. This is ridiculous. Like, this is heinous.
I know, and I'm glad Pierce is like trying to hold him to his feet to the fire by making him say, "Hey, why can't you condemn the murder?" Like, I'm glad, but every time you do that, I notice that he'll start to spurg out big time. It's like his move, you know.
Yeah, he won't do it, but I'd love to see him do this, and even then, I won't even believe him. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Give me 1 second. My freaking audio went out real quick. I don't know. My stupid computer does this sometimes. It like just drops my headphones. So just give me 1 second.
Nah, you're good. Take your time. It's funny because I'm watching in like we're saying, I don't consider Anna a centrist. She'll say that, hey, I moved further to the center. But here's the thing, though. I do believe that she's still on the left. She's still going to utter the same talking points of the left. And what you're seeing right now is it's hilarious. Notice Andrew Wilson didn't even have to get in because they're eating their own. Like I said at the beginning of this, when you and I got together to co-host this thing, they eat their own and they'll continue to do this and they're going to continue to fall on their swords. I love watching this right now because we're seeing this in real time. This is a great example of them doing this.
Yep, exactly.
At all. You have no proof of that whatsoever.
That's what
Just
the
like
investigators
the
are saying.
Was a conservative, just like the people that firebombed Shapiro's house was a conservative, just like all the J6ers were conservative, just like the Proud Boys were conservative. Every single one of these people. Oh, it's Jack Brzovic, what, the author of Unhuman, another person that Charlie's reporting. Good one, dude.
Well, I'll give you one last chance, Destiny, to condemn the murder of Charlie.
Yes, you are acting like an unhuman.
Why can't I hear Donald Trump
condemn
violence in this
all
country?
right, you won't condemn it. Okay, we've all heard.
That's insane.
We've all heard you repeatedly refuse to condemn it.
We've heard Donald Trump refuse to condemn it too. But for some reason, the leftists on YouTube are a bigger deal. Unbelievable.
Yeah. What's incredible is you don't have the basic humanity to condemn it. You'd rather taunt his widow. I find that sickening. Jack Posobiec.
I find it sickening that when people are getting killed in the country, the president of the United States on Fox and Friends, when they're begging him, what do you say to your followers that want revenge? He says, I don't know. All the elections are rigged. It's the radical Democrats. That's insane to me. And then the fixation is, well, who on Twitter and YouTube isn't condemning the violence?
All right, Jack Posobiec.
You have a great example.
Yeah, and they don't like it. Like, I like when anything else, like for instance, let's say a white cop shoots a black man, they have no problem in coming to conclusions and being like, well, it's definitely racism, white supremacy, racism, all this nonsense. But then when it's clearly a left-wing activist that does something, all of a sudden they're like, well, we don't know if it's for sure a left-winger. We don't know this. We need more evidence. Like, what do you think about that?
And if you notice, Donald Trump is not in the room. They're talking about somebody who can't presently defend himself on Piers Morgan. The onus is on Destiny to refute this and actually condemn the murder. And then when pushed and asked about this, where's the accountability? Where's this? He's shielding himself by obfuscating and actually pointing the blame at somebody who's not even present. This is classic scumbaggery and very slimy for him to do. He's done this in debates, like I've said before, and we're watching this in real time. So, I mean, he's going to constantly keep doing this. I can predict this. I don't have to be a fortune teller to tell you this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. He wants Donald Trump to do that, but he can't even do it himself. Like, he can't even be like, we could always be like, well, why don't you set the example, Destiny? And he can't do it. He can't do it.
Yeah, and the onus is on him. He's being called directly right now.
Yeah.
And it's almost like Destiny has hearing plugs in right now and can't even hear this, and he's saying the la 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 thing right now. And that's all he's doing. He's not listening to hear anything. He's just listening to respond. This is a classic case of also this as well, too.
Exactly.
We'll hear of the type of cancer I'm talking about, where when you present direct information, they refuse, they obfuscate, they refute, they say it's not true, they lie. You could see from the bullet casings, you could see from postings, you could see from everything out there that it's very clear what happened here. This is the same people who supported President Trump almost getting assassinated twice last year, Corey Capatore being assassinated
by
last year
conservatives
in a situation. Again, see, just lies. That's all they do. They talk over. They don't even let you give a chance to speak. And something needs to be done, Piers. Something absolutely needs to be done. This ideology should be shamed, humiliated, driven from the public discourse. I mean, you've got people who have completely dissociated with humanity because all they care about clicks and YouTube streams and likes. Go to the casket. Go to the gravesite. Go talk to the widow. I don't even know how to discuss this with someone who's completely lost all touch with reality.
Yeah, I mean,
what's Jack's answer to why can't the president say we should all be less violent?
Right. because you can't even condemn the
Bam.
cold-blooded
Because I can't.
execution of
Donald
Charlie
Trump
Kirk.
turns on
I
Destiny
don't think you're in the
on YouTube,
position
and he
to
says, "I
demand
wonder what
anything from
Destiny's saying
anybody.
on YouTube." That's how I'm going to take my.
You're
my
not in any
pointers.
position
Really?
to condemn anybody for anything. You
I
won't
absolutely
condemn a
am, because he's the
cold-blooded
president
murder.
of the United States. He's the president of the United States. No one here can answer that question.
Basic
Why Donald
humanity
Trump-
says
why
the murder
Donald Trump,
was
the president,
horrific.
can't say
Why can't
all
you
of us
say
need
it?
to be less violent.
Why can't you
Democrats
say
have been
it,
saying
Destiny?
it for over a decade.
To
Democrats
say
have
the
been saying it for
murder
over a
was
decade.
horrific and
Why
unacceptable.
can't Donald Trump say it?
You can't do
why
it,
does no
can
one
you?
hear any words for Donald Trump?
All right,
What do
Anarchist
you have for
Baron.
Donald Trump? Nothing exactly.
Anarchist Baron. This, to me, this is what I'm talking about. That I think there is an element of the left, the hard woke left, that have completely lost their minds. If you are not able to just outright simply condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk, and if you cannot stop yourself from mocking his grieving widow, you are sick, as I've just seen from Destiny. It's a
The
sick
sick thing is
mindset.
weaponizing a
Oh my
widow's
gosh, you
grief
can't
to
shut
try to
up.
do recruitment for your political party. That's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. She's showing up in emails for recruitment
what
drives
would
for
you expect,
TPUSA.
though, Destiny?
24
What did
what
you
would I
think
expect
the
for somebody whose
assassination
husband
of a
was just
political
killed? I
figure
would
would
say you
do?
probably
What did
take-
you think
you pro-
the outcome was going to be? What did you
For-
think the
what do you-
outcome was? And
hold
by
on,
the
I'm
way,
sorry, are you asking me
really,
for the pragmatic political outcome, or are you
behavior?
asking
Hold
me
on,
for-
let me. Hey,
You're
how
asking me a
about
question,
take it
so I
easy
didn't know
on
it
the
was rhetorical.
Adderall? Take it easy on the Adderall, and let me ask you
Oh,
the question that Pierce
sorry,
asked
I
me.
must have been really
Okay,
bully today. I
my
guess.
Let Anna
behavior,
speak, please.
my behavior is not reliant on how anyone else behaves. Every morning I wake up and I make decisions about how I choose to react or respond to things. I don't wake up in the morning, check what Donald Trump has to say, and then base my own personal behavior on his behavior. I agree with you in that it would be very helpful to have the leader of this country want to turn the temperature down. And he hasn't done that. I agree with you on that. But that doesn't change the way I choose to respond to what's going on. The idea of mocking a woman who is now a widow with 2 young children who witnessed her husband get shot in the neck and bleed out to death. How can you mock that? What is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you
it's such a
judge
simple thing.
others
If you're
as
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
Let me understand. Let me understand your argument. So since others are using her grief to politically recruit, you think that it's okay to mock her specifically?
Since others
How
are
does that make
using
any
her grief,
sense?
she's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in
Destiny, let me
TPUSA
explain.
ads to
Let
1
me
or 2
explain
days
something to
after.
you. If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is, what it's like to actually lose someone that you love, that you chose to spend your life with, that you chose to raise children with, a person who was violently and viciously assassinated like that. This is why I've moved
That's fine.
away
And when
from
something yeah, I know, yes,
identifying as
because
a
you got bullied online. It's so funny. It's so funny that you just said that you don't think about how other people act to define your behavior. Your entire political ideology now is somehow defined by the people that were mean to you on Twitter.
No,
if somebody
it's
cares
not.
about somebody who's
No,
grieving,
I
then
understood
you tell that
what
person,
the flaws
you
on
tell
the
that
left
person,
happen to
hey,
be. The
maybe you
weakness
should
in their
step back for a
arguments.
couple of
No,
weeks.
no, it's
Maybe you
not
should
about
take
the
some
way I
time to
get
grieve.
treated.
You don't
I get
say, hey,
treated
let's
like
throw a
crap from
camera in
both
front
sides
of
of
you
the
and have
political
you do
aisle.
mass recruitment for our political party while everyone over here is calling for civil war. It's
You know, it's crazy he keeps calling it like mass recruiting, like she's trying to start this, like, I don't know, right-wing army or something. All she's doing is trying to continue Charlie's work. That's all she's trying to do. But I don't know. I wouldn't expect Destiny to understand this. I mean, after all, he let his wife you know, well, we all know his marriage life.
Destiny's extremely tone deaf. For one, Anna points out something that I was actually going to say. She took the words out of my mouth. I don't want to share too many words with her, by the way. Being mindful of this, I think that we're on the cusp of not even having a procession yet, and Destiny wants him to turn the people to turn the other cheek, as if something just happened in front of a man's daughter. Now, you have to think that Destiny is removing the humanity of a response and just saying, this is a very selfish I say tone from Destiny. Like I said, he's very tone deaf and isn't really thinking about a family that just lost the head of their family. And when we're thinking about this, you know, you're talking about a widow that just came off from having a speech and just trying to maintain some kind of composure. He's very tone deaf here and doesn't think that there's any humanistic response that anybody should have, and going right to a selfish response. But what about us? But what about this? To me, this doesn't really make any sense, and I don't understand Destiny's position in this argument.
I actually really don't either. It's the only thing I could see is just a guy who just wants to kind of weasel his way out of any sort of responsibility whatsoever. Just talk trash and not take any responsibility.
Yeah, I agree.
Hinged. When you've got people like Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire, the
we're
president
talking
of the
to a
United States
guy
calling
who
for
said
civil
he'd be
war.
okay with his own parents getting killed if they went to that Trump rally where that assassination
And
attempt
we're talking
happened.
to a
There's
woman
no
who went
reasoning
on and
with
did
you,
the whole
Destiny.
conservative media
There's
outlet with
there's
Tucker
no
Carlson
reasoning
and
with
Glenn
you.
Beck and had
Okay.
nothing bad to say whatsoever. I know where your bread is buttered. I know where
And
you're
it was
making your money
great. I
from.
had
Okay, that's
awesome
great.
conversations.
And you
I
do
don't
the person-
regret it
I
at
know,
all.
that's great.
I also had a
And keep up with the
conversation
personal
with Jack
attacks 'cause you're
Posobiec
so
on her
brain
take. It was
broken.
awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Jack,
what
the guy, everything
democracy is
paid
about.
by
Having
Russia
an
that lies
exchange of
about everything that
ideas.
comes out of his
Yeah.
mouth.
All right,
great.
let me
That's a
bring
good
in.
one.
Let me
Very
I
bring
don't
in.
agree with him on everything, but at
Still
least we
to
can
this
have
day,
dialogue.
Anna,
No
Anna,
one on
you're
here can
completely
hold
right,
a
by the
dialogue.
way.
Sure is
Anna
happening
is
right now.
completely
Charlie,
right.
didn't it?
And the irony of Charlie Kirk is that he led the way in going in to debate with people who hated him, and he would try and have respectful
Charlie
dialogue.
Kirk beat up
Well,
on college students.
unlike
That's all
you,
he
Destiny.
did. Let's be
Let me
real.
bring
Unlike
Andrew
me,
Wilson
I'm
in.
here
So do
arguing,
you.
I'm not- yeah.
Let me bring in Andrew Wilson.
So do you. You beat up on college students. You go on a college tour.
Charlie
You're going on a
Kirk is
college
trying to
tour
hold
right
higher
now
level
to
debates
beat
than you
up
guys
on
hold.
college students. What are you talking about, Destiny? That's what you're doing right this second, is going on a college tour to go beat up on college students. By the way, can I just ask you a question?
I don't
Yes or no?
exclusively beat up on college.
Can you actually answer? Can you actually answer? Hang on, calm down. I just got one question. I got one question for you, and I want you to actually answer it. Are you glad Charlie Kirk is dead?
No, I don't think anybody in this country should be dying to political violence. It's insane. The past 5 years
Then
in this
just
country
not
is
answer the
crazy.
question.
But the reality
So
is,
then-
Yeah.
So then why did you say to your co-host that Trump deserved a bullet? Why'd you tell him that?
Until conservatives have to say, hey, we all need to be less violent, there's no purpose
Oh
in
my
Democrats
gosh.
doing it, because every time Democrats disavow, you further entrench your guys' delusional beliefs that all the violence is coming on the left. Donald Trump can go on TV. He can say, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. They can go on Parler and say, we heard you. They can go to the Capitol and break in and try to insurrect. They can get convicted in front of a jury, and then Donald Trump can pardon them, and we can come out and go, hey, guys, why aren't Democrats disavowing violence? And pretend that the problem is coming from the left. Democrats do a disservice to this country by disavowing violence constantly when the president of the United States
Let me
won't go
respond
on
quickly.
TV and say all of
Let me
us
respond
need to be
quickly,
less violent. How
Destiny.
easy
So
could that
the
be?
thing is, why did you say to your co-host
keep
that
focusing on me.
the
Keep
bullet
focusing on me.
that the
I'm
bullet
not here to
that
play-
the bullet was for Trump? Why did you say to your co-host that the best place for the bullet was Trump? Why did you say that?
Why did Donald Trump call
It's a
people fascists if
whataboutism.
that's what's causing people to
Whataboutism.
kill? Yeah,
I'm
that's what
asking
you're
you a
doing right
question.
Now, whataboutism? The
I can't be a
conversation is about what
whataboutism
I
if
said.
it's my
The
question,
conversation is,
Destiny.
why won't Donald Trump disavow
Answer
violence in the United
the
States?
question.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this before I cut
such an easy
mics?
question.
Because you don't care.
Destiny,
You don't care that Kirk's dead. Just
Destiny,
be honest,
allow
you fuck.
Andrew,
Just be
allow
honest, you fuck.
Andrew to.
Man, that jaw of Destiny is working overtime right now. I could see the smoke coming out of it.
Remember what I said? He didn't answer the question. He's still not answering. Like what I said, he's obfuscating and lying, actually. So to me, I think that when you're omitting something, that's also a lie, which is what Destiny's doing. So he's doing two things. He's omitting the truth here, which is also a lie, by the way, and also obfuscating and running from this, which means he's also not going to still condemn the murder. So that's two accounts that I could hold him to if this were really a debate. So this doesn't really make any sense, and not answering the question. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is wild. Thank you very much, WR332, for the $20 dono. Thank you very much, man. Destiny has a long history of bad hot takes and argues in bad faith. Oh, yeah, definitely. He doesn't come to exchange ideas. It's all sophistry. They allow this disgusting guy on for views and clicks. By the way, Anna has to drag Cenk towards center. Yeah, I don't know how, I don't know how successful she is going to be at that, but definitely. Thank you very much for the dono, man.
Repeat his question and let him ask the question, then you answer it. Okay, Andrew?
No, I want to.
Oh my gosh.
Let him ask the question.
Donald Trump.
Let him ask the question, Destiny, and then you answer it. Andrew.
Destiny told his co-host when asked point blank if he wanted the bullet to kill Trump, that the worst thing that could have happened was the bullet missing. He said this to Pisco. I watched it. Okay. This guy's an obfuscation machine. And if you know what else, Destiny, why should we believe you? I think you are glad Kirk is dead. And all of your tweets seem to prove that. And you would have been happy if Trump was assassinated. You've made that very clear. So why not just be truthful for once in your fucking life and say the truth, that you don't care that Kirk is dead and you're actually probably glad he is. Isn't that really what's true?
I don't want anybody in this country to die to political violence. I don't think in the United States of America that should be happening. I don't know why it's so hard for the president to say the same. I
Oh
think
my
it'd be
gosh.
the easiest thing in the world as a president.
Dude.
Biden did it for 4 years. That's why everything was way cooler when he was here, like in terms of temperature. The Clintons have no problem saying it. Barack Obama has no problem saying it. Kamala Harris has come out and said it. Every Democratic lawmaker and leader has basically come out and said it. But for some reason on the Republican side, it's just civil war, civil war, civil war. And the Republican president of the United States, who has presided over more violence politically in this country, more large protests than any president in all of U.S. history, for some reason can't bring himself to say, all of us need to calm down. And
So
did
Trump deserve the bullet? Did Trump deserve the bullet?
What'd you say, Martae?
Still can't answer the question. Still has yet to
Yeah.
answer the 3 questions he's been asked. The number one question that he was asked was, can you denounce the murderer? And also, do you not, are you celebrating the murder? And also, did you not say this to your co-host during Pisco's debate? This doesn't make any sense. So these are 3 things. He's an obfuscation machine. Like I've said before, Andrew called him on this before. Mind you, I've never watched this video, and I called him on this. So he's also deflecting the whole time. He won't answer a single damn question. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Saying I don't want anyone dying for political violence isn't the same thing as saying I condemn Charlie Kirk's murderer. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that it sounds like he's answering the question, but he's really not. It's like a little trick of words, you know? Little sleight of hand.
Slimy destiny, right?
Yeah, exactly. Slimy destiny.
This is all you care about are the political hit jobs.
Just answer the question, bro. Did Trump deserve the bullet?
Did Donald Trump
Did he deserve the
violence
bullet?
on his side ever? Did Donald Trump
Answer the question. Did Trump deserve the bullet?
You can't answer the question. We're here to play.
No, bro.
to
It's my turn to ask the question. It's your turn to answer.
It's
Did
YouTube video
Trump deserve
clips.
the
and
bullet?
Did Trump disavow violence in this country ever?
Oh my
Did
gosh.
he deserve the bullet? Yes, he's
Answer my
disavowed
question, I'll
violence.
answer yours.
But again, I just did. Now your turn. Now your
Not just on
turn.
the radical
It's your
left. Did
turn.
Donald Trump?
Did
then
Trump
no,
deserve the
I
bullet?
never said that. No, I never said that. No.
Okay, except you did to your co-host.
No,
You
I
said,
didn't. Oh, wait. When did
your
Donald Trump
exact
disavow?
words-
Wait. When did
you-
Donald Trump
your
disavow
exact
violence
words
in this
to your
country?
co-host, you lying sack of shit. If he wanted
I'm the lying
to
sack
kill
of
Trump,
shit?
the
No
worst
way.
thing that could
Wait,
have happened
Donald Trump
was the
disavowed
bullet
all
missing.
political violence. And
That's what you
this,
said,
and this is
bro.
yeah. And this is where when
You're
you're
the biggest
putting
lying sack of
YouTubers, when
shit,
you're putting
bro.
YouTubers and tweeters on the same level as the president of the United States, this is why conservatives are absolutely brain broken when it comes to violence in this country. And that's why it'll continue.
But
There'll be more
Destiny,
deaths.
but Destiny,
Maybe it'll be me at the
Thank you very much for the $5 dono WR332. Again, thank you very much. Did Destiny ever apologize for the dead fireman? Oh wait, he tripled down. He celebrated the guy's death, which is a political driven killing. Yeah, exactly. He said some awful things about Corey Comprentor, and he's always saying vile things like about Trump almost getting assassinated, about the Charlie Kirk death. That's what I mean. Like, is this just trolling or what's with this dude?
I don't know. He has an agenda clearly, and this agenda is basically him digging his feet in the sand. I see this right now. I don't have to be a mind reader to know this. And he's not moving. He's denying questions. He actually admitted this. He said, are you comparing YouTubers to the president? This is like a damn near admission of this. But anyways, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny,
Well, I do agree you wanted to
and you
continue.
guys are
Destiny.
all going to turn around and be like, I can't believe it. What's going on?
Destiny.
What's happening here?
Okay,
Yeah.
Destiny, if you care so much about political violence in America, why don't you lead the way yourself without
can't,
mentioning
because
anybody
one
else?
side-
Why don't
because
you?
one side-
Why don't you, Destiny, right now just outright condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because we've been doing that for a decade. One side can't
You can't do
turn
it, can
down
you?
the temperature.
You can't
The other
do
side
it.
can't turn down the temperature. If Donald Trump can't, then the left shouldn't until he does.
Got it.
Republicans
Okay, you don't want to do it.
need accountability
Okay,
for
Jack-
their actions. They need some responsibility for the insanity.
He had
they
it coming,
cause.
Even though
They
you've taken on
need
yourself.
that
Let me bring
Republicans-
in Jack
What do you mean?
Posobiec.
We absolutely,
All right,
Democrats will
that's
take
enough,
accountability, but
Destiny.
it's their
I'll bring
fault.
in Jack Posobiec.
Yeah,
Jack.
okay. Nice. Both sides it.
Jack.
Yeah.
What is your response to this?
I mean, Piers, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, this type of ideology where you've got someone who's willing to mock Erica, who's been standing strong for her family, for her children, who's just, she will never be able to grow old with Charlie. She will never be able to be with them again, have more children, to have grandchildren, to have those memories, to raise them. It's all gone. Every single moment of that future that they had was gone because someone fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk that said, "Hey, fascist, catch." And now you have people celebrating it. And when you ask people
That's
about
not even
it,
the
they
bullet
say,
that was fired.
"Oh,
How are you lying
oh,
about this?
Shut
even?
up, Destiny.
Holy
Shut
shit!
up.
You're so
Shut
shameless,
up.
dude. Oh my god! You're not even inside the right bullet. You're such a disgusting
Piers.
piece of shit. Holy fuck!
What a
Piers.
pedantic
Are we-
point. What a
are we
It's not
even gonna do
pedantic.
this?
This guy's a fucking professional
It's total
liar.
it's total pedantry. Total.
I love that we're just kind of just telling these people to shut up. You know, I saw this a little bit when when Cenk was on there with Konstantin Kissin. Konstantin Kissin just straight up tell this other dude just to shut up. And it's like we're getting to that point where it's like we've had enough of them. You know what I mean? We had enough of their bullshit and gaslighting.
Yeah, it's funny. You could see their own side turning on themselves and eating themselves alive. Like Anna, which I've never, 3 years ago, if you'd have told me that she would have been turning against Destiny, I would have just told you that you were just telling me fish stories or something crazy like that. But right now we're watching this as people are telling Destiny to literally shut up, as Destiny's calling him a liar and told 3 lies at the same time and obfuscates the whole time. He's just an omission machine. This doesn't really make any sense. He just eats. They're just eating their own, and I'm watching this as well too. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you very much, James, for the $9.99 dono. Got nothing, just wants to support. Thank you very much, James. Appreciate it.
I would like to let Jack finish his point, please.
Yeah,
and they'll claim there's no leftist connection. They'll claim there's no there, and then go so far as to lie and say there's some kind of Christian conservative connection when you could see the writing on the bullet casings. And so, these are very common symbols associated, whatever. The point is, right, it should be very, very clear. Are we connected with our humanity or are we not? And some people are willing to do that. Anna's been willing to do that. We've done shows together. They've been fine. They've been good. We've jousted. We've done the back and forth. Destin and I in the past have had shows together where before he kind of took this turn, and you think there are people who can just be willing to stand up for humanity.
Jack, it reminds me a bit of the journey I've gone on, very different circumstances, but the Israel-Hamas war. The reason I asked everybody on the pro-Palestinian side for months after the war started, do you condemn what Hamas did, is I think it was very enlightening as to the humanity of the person by how they responded. If their immediate response was, of course I do, the mass murder of civilians on October the 7th was a horrendous atrocity, then we can move on to an intellectually honest debate. If they refuse to condemn what Hamas did, it's a completely different debate. And similarly, right now, I feel if you can't condemn a lot of what the IDF are doing, frankly, it's my opinion, in Gaza, then the same thing. If you're unequivocally like it's all fine with 20,000 plus kids being killed, then I've got a problem with that too. But I do think you've got to try and maintain in all of these debates a modicum of humanity about people who are actually being killed. And what is terrifying about the mindset of a lot of people on the woke left have seen since Charlie Kirk's death is the brazen glee that they're taking to his murder. And then when I see even Destiny, who's a very well-followed person on the internet, well-known, when Destiny, frankly, if you can't bring yourself just to say the murder was horrific and should never have happened, it's a very simple sentence. It's just basic humanity. It really makes me despair for where everything is going, because it's indicative of the mindset of, I can't give an inch to my political opponents, therefore I lose my humanity. How can that be right?
Because you can't give an inch to political opponents that won't recognize or acknowledge anything they've done is wrong. It's all it's done is gotten us here. This is where we're at because of that.
Isn't that literally what Destiny's doing
The
right
irony,
now, though?
The irony, yes, exactly. It's very ironic because he's doing the same thing that he's accusing the other people of doing. And it's like there's no self-awareness at all in this man, which he's He's like a child. By the way, I look forward to. I predicted this already. Me and Destiny would run into each other, but I look forward to eviscerating him in the next debate. That happens.
Hell yeah, same here.
Exact mindset. Will any of the conservatives here acknowledge the conservative that murdered Melissa Hortman and her husband and shot the other senator in Minnesota?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
That it was a conservative shooter? No. That it was a conservative shooter?
I don't know the details on that particular case. If I did, and it turned out that it was the case, of course, I would say that such violence should be disavowed. Thing is, you can't hold your entire moral standard based on what you think Trump is doing or not doing. What does that have to do with you, Destiny? It has nothing to do with you. You can easily just say, you can lead by example and say, let's all tone down the violence.
You can't lead by
That's
example.
what you
Not the
want,
president
right?
of the United States. That's what Democrats have been doing.
Wait,
for
you
the
can't
last
lead by
decade.
example because you're not the president? That's the stupidest thing I've heard today.
So what? So is Destiny saying the only way he could get down to violence only if Donald Trump does? Like, what is he trying to say here? It doesn't make any sense.
He's just stubborn. That's what it is. He's just classically digging his feet in the sand and not moving it an ounce or an inch.
Wants to fight and the other side doesn't, then you're going to fight. One side can't decide not
What
to
are you
fight.
talking?
But the
That
other side
makes no
decides to.
sense. What does that have
What
to
do you
do
mean
with
it
you?
makes no
You
sense?
can-
If
you
some
can
guy comes up to
easily-
you to
you
fight,
can easily
and the
just
other
say it
side
now,
says, I
Destiny.
don't want to, you don't really have the choice there. It's,
Lead
that's
by
how fighting
example, then.
works.
Lead by
You can't lead
example
by
and show
example.
us.
That's called dying.
You can.
Actually, I jump in.
Because you're actually happy
Let me
about
jump
it,
in
Destiny.
here.
Just be honest, you're happy
I actually
about it.
felt that Anna hit the nail on the head here, which is she did not need to wait for Donald Trump to comment on this.
Exactly.
To make her own mind up about what had happened. That is intellectual honesty, right? Yes, it may have been somebody that she totally
Anna's
disagreed
a
with
right-wing
on many
talking
issues.
head. Why- yeah,
the
no, of
simple,
course she can do
humane thing
this.
to do with any event like this is to ask yourself, how do I personally feel about it? Not what does Donald Trump think about it, or what does Joe Biden think about it, or what does Timbuktu think about it? It's what do I personally feel about this? It didn't take me very long, Destiny, to understand that I felt repulsed by the execution of somebody in cold blood with his wife and 2 young children there watching. It's a human reaction. I don't need to know what Donald Trump thinks about it at all. I don't understand why you need to wait for him before your own
I
humanity
don't need to
kicks
wait for
in.
anybody. No, you're not asking how we feel about it. You're asking what the public statements should be. And the public statements should be
No,
the
I'm
president
not.
of the United
I'm
States.
not.
Yes, you are.
No,
you're
I'm
asking
not.
me for a public statement
I'm
right
asking,
now.
where
You
is
think
your
it's great watching a
humanity? You
colleague
can't
getting
just
murdered?
say the
Where
murder
is your
was
humanity,
wrong.
peers? You guys are playing into this exactly. I think you probably know it. I think Cornell was right about this. You know where your bread is buttered as well. You guys play into this. It's insane to me that the president of the United States can't say, hey, all of us need to be less violent. We all need to calm the fuck down. That the president of the United States can't say this, but you will endlessly scour Twitter and YouTube for leftists to bring on and say, don't you guys disavow the violence? It's absolutely absurd to me.
You know, Cornel West should have stayed in his seat. We were debating free speech, actually, and whether
You're not debating free speech. It's not
well, let
even
me
an equivalent
finish.
conversation,
Let me finish,
Piers.
and whether
It's
the
insane.
overuse of words like Hitler, Nazis, and fascists was actually empowering deranged young minds to think they were battling actual new Hitler, Nazis, and fascists. And actually, when Andrew pointed out to Cornell that he had used the phrase neo-fascist about Trump, that's when Cornell decided he couldn't take part in the debate anymore, when he was reminded of something he had said. He didn't try and deny it. He just said, I don't want to have this debate, and left.
Piers, how long have you been in the United States, like following our politics?
Over 20 years, I've lived and worked in America.
Okay, if you've lived and worked in America, I grew up as a conservative listening to Rush Limbaugh and to Glenn Beck
Yeah.
and to Billy Cunningham and to Sean Hannity. You're going to sit here and pretend like Democrats are the ones that started the name calling? I heard them call Obama and the Clinton
I didn't say
socialists and
that.
communists.
When did I say
I
that?
heard them call. I'm just saying, why are we pretending that some
Wait,
people
I'm saying,
only
why
grew
did
up in
Cornell
Christian
West
household?
Why
and you're
would
a
Cornell
leftist?
West
I thought
walk
that
out
couldn't
on a
happen
debate
5
when we're
minutes ago.
literally talking about the importance of speech? Makes no sense to me.
If speech is important, then the president should exercise it more cautiously.
So should
And
you.
Republicans
So should you.
have been.
No accountability, lingering drama. Trump has announced the violence. Yeah, he said the left causes, but at this point, it's clearly one side that's doing it. Like, it's majority. Like, I saw this meme where it was like where it's like two sides, like the left and the right, and like you see the little I forgot what they're called, but the little crossouts, and it's like you see just a little bit from here on the right, and then a ton on the left, and the guy's like, "See, both sides do it." But no, we can't go on with this lie that it's both sides because it's not. It's not equally both sides. What do you have anything to add, Martae?
No. I mean, he will point out the stark minority and then say, hey, see, it's them, just like J6 when that happened. There was less people causing damage. The majority of them were peacefully just there, not causing any damage. And matter of fact, there was nobody that was convicted as a insurrectionist. So, I mean, back to this. He's just uttering the same talking points, and there's no accountability in Destiny at all.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You can't stop.
You've got millions of followers, and you think it's fine to show them you're mocking a widow.
You cannot choose for your opponent not to fight you.
Fine.
If Republicans
mocked
won't
a
turn
grieving
down
widow.
the rhetoric, then who cares? Donald Trump
Who
shouldn't have
cares?
used the rhetoric that led her to be
Who
killed.
cares?
2 days before she
Who
dies,
cares that
Donald
you
Trump's
mocked
tweeting
a
out
grieving
pictures.
widow?
This is all. It's just virtue signaling.
There
You
it
guys
is.
are making fun. You guys are excited about it. You guys love it.
How is
You
it?
love
How
the
is it that you
violence.
said this
You
guy
love
can't
the
possibly be a
conflict. It's
leftist?
exciting to you. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
No.
How
this
is
isn't
it that you
exciting.
said this guy can't be a
This isn't
leftist
good.
because he grew up in a white Christian household? Well, you grew up in a white Christian household by your own admission just now, and you're a fucking leftist, Destiny.
I'm
Can you explain that
36
to me?
years old. This guy was 22, and he lived at home.
What does that have to do with
basically his entire
anything?
life.
Yeah.
What does that have to do
Right.
with
I
anything?
had 20 years to separate myself from my parents' ideology. I didn't live with them
Oh.
still. Jesus.
So 6 months, 1 year, 20 years? Why does it matter how long it took to separate? You just got to say it was impossible, and you yourself are a leftist who grew up in a Christian conservative household, dude.
I mean, and that doesn't have anything to do. Destiny's logic makes no sense. What does it matter if these lived out? Yeah, like Andrew said, out of the house for any certain amount of time. There are people who still live in their parents' homes that still do horrendous things that their parents totally don't endorse or condone or anything like that. That the school shooter that we just had, they were still living with their parents, and the parents, you know what I'm trying to say here? It's not like, oh, the parents raised them to be that way.
Well, here's the other thing. Notice how far we are off the prompt. Destiny's good at doing this too. He's good at diverging and projecting for everything else and pointing other things that have nothing to do with the current debate and topic. Now we're on how he grew up and everything else, but it's like he's dying by a sword that he created, which has nothing to do with this conversation. He's obfuscating as usual and making himself look bad. This is typical Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
I've
asking
ever
me,
seen.
Hold on,
You're the
I'm
worst
sorry. You think that a 22-year-old has as much time to separate himself from the ideology that he grew
Did
up
I
with
say
as
that?
a 36-year-old?
Didn't say
Yeah,
it.
you just made
It's
the
a
comparison,
pedantic,
dipshit.
stupid
Of course
point.
you did. It's not.
Let me
No,
ask
I made the
you-
comparison that
absolutely
person
on
can be
the subject.
radicalized.
What a
Look at
stupid
you.
point.
Let me
You're the
jump
most
in.
radicalized
Let me
fucking
jump in. Let me jump in. Let me ask Jack. Jack, you know the Kirk family well. You've been around the Kirk family, I think, since this is appalling murder has happened. When you hear Destiny saying, "Who cares?" about the fact that he openly, publicly mocked Erica Kirk, a grieving widow, within literally a day or two of her husband being murdered. How does that make you feel as a friend of the family?
It's very angry, Piers, you know. And here's the thing is she's seeing all of it. She's going to see all of it. Her kids are going to watch this video one day. It's just, that's sort of the nature of reality now. They will see all of this and they will see the reaction. And I just hope that those of us who
Why is he laughing?
knew Charlie, worked with Charlie, who knew Charlie beyond the, you know, TikToks and short videos can also be there for those kids as they grow up to let them know who their dad was.
And kids are going to grow up and watch old episodes of Piers Morgan uncensored. How performative is this? Is everybody here? Did we all get like a script before the show? What?
They watch a lot of old episodes of the
so
JFK.
embarrassing. You make the left look so
Jesus.
bad, and you don't even realize it. You are
My God.
seriously so embarrassing.
Okay, yeah.
God.
You can talk to your best friend.
You really
Glenn
are.
Beck about
I mean,
it
like,
later,
you-
know, and have
do you
another
feel-
30-minute conversation about it, Anna.
Maybe I
talk about how
will.
the
Maybe I
mean
will talk to
wokies
Glenn
on-
Beck about
on
it.
Twitter
Oh, is
are
that
bullying you about
ooh?
it.
Is that
Yeah.
is that
And
naughty?
you know,
Is it
how
naughty
many
to have
conversations have you had with
people
Nick?
across the
Bro?
aisle?
You guys have
You
in
had
common
more
now, because
conversations
people
with
on
Nick than
Twitter are
anyone.
So mean. Oh no, not the meanies on Twitter.
Anna,
How many
finish
more
your point.
lawsuits are you
Chicken
going
and
to face
waffles
from
with
women
Nick
that you
Fuentes?
allegedly secretly
Like, what do you
recorded
mean?
during intimate moments? Destiny, I can't believe
Anna,
anyone
are you
takes you
are you
seriously. You're
really? You want to
disgusting.
pull out Twitter?
You're
You wanna pull out
embarrassing,
Twitter, River
and
Hut?
you
Yeah,
should be
keep going,
shunned
Anna.
from
Yep.
public life with
Keep
your
playing it.
disgusting
My
treatment
God, I can't
of all
believe you
sorts
got
of
bullied
people,
so hard
including
on
young
Twitter. This is what you
left-wing
become.
girls, women
You're turning
that you
more
victimize
blonde right
allegedly.
now in the window. You're
Yeah,
so
that's who
you're
you
like
are.
2 shades away from
You're
being a
embarrassing.
news host, Anna.
You
Keep going.
Dude.
Young left-wing women. That's the thing, though, is like he's and he won't stop. He keeps going and digs this hole even further. To me, this doesn't make any sense. And notice, I wanted to point out something that he said, which slipped under the radar, maybe not beyond what Andrew Wilson didn't catch, but I'm saying, I don't care. When asked about the death, notice how he said, we don't care. This is an admission that he's saying, not only will he not condemn, but he's also layering on the thickness of we don't care as well, too. This makes no sense. So we know his position is vitriol and fanning the flames. Even more so, he's demonstrating that as we speak, as he speaks right now.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
There's the left. You're the type of person who pushes people away from the left. Make sure you understand that. You're embarrassing. There's no morality with you. There's no grounding values. There's no principles. All you want is attention, 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 attention. That's all you want.
Yeah, of course.
All
Well,
you
and
want.
Jen talking
Endless
about how
attention.
9/11 was
Say
caused by the
disgusting,
Jews, and you have
provocative
another
garbage.
another friendly conversation with another
Yeah.
mainstream conservative commentator about how you're such a leftist, but those people on Twitter are so mean.
Having a debate or dialogue doesn't automatically mean that you agree with everything they have to say. It means you're coming
No, it's
together
when you sit down and you
you're
agree with
exchanging
everything they have
ideas
to say.
and
Then you agree with
debating
everything they
them.
have to say.
No, I don't agree with everything they have to
You
say.
do.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, you do.
I
Of
don't
course
agree
you
with
do. What
everything
do you
they have
mean?
to say. But you know, I'm
When
an
you
adult.
sit down and
I
all
can
of your
sit down and
criticisms
have a
are
mature
for the
debate
left,
or
and you have
conversation.
no disagreements about anything on the right, yeah, that's called
I do have
agreement. That's usually what we
criticisms for the
call it.
left. I have tons of criticisms for the right. Tons of criticisms. I'm obviously
they don't seem to come out
pro-choice, for
much when you're
instance.
talking to
I
your
obviously
conservative
have a
friends.
huge
Oh, the big guns,
problem
yeah.
with the unending, unmitigated support for Israel, regardless of the genocide they're engaging in. I have all sorts of disagreements with the right. That doesn't mean I'm going to dehumanize them and cheer on the slaughter of my fellow Americans because we have disagreements on politics. You're
I wish
embarrassing.
anybody here had the same energy for the president of the United States, but that's good.
Oh
I'm glad
my
you guys
gosh.
are focused where it really counts on Twitter and
Dude,
YouTube.
you
which
have
is what the
like
conservatives want you to be
TDS,
focused
like
on, you know?
you are like the prototype
TDS,
of TDS.
yeah, there it
It's
comes, yeah.
unbelievable.
Oh, the
You wake
TDS,
up every
yes.
morning and you decide your
Yes,
behavior is going
true.
to hinge on Trump.
Tell me
Who
more about the
are you as an
dancing
individual?
Israelis and
God,
building
have a little
7
bit
and
of
how the
humanity.
Jews all knew about 9/11
You're a
and they all want us to go to war
You're
in the
a
Middle East. Yeah, of course.
sociopath.
I'm
Let me
I
bring
never
in-
once said the
Okay.
Jews
Let me
were
bring
behind
in Jack
9/11.
again.
Not
Well, actually, she has said that the Jews were behind 9/11, which is funny because she brought up the whole his lawsuit with the whole recording, girls and I guess guys too. You know how destiny swings, both. But he now brings up all the conspiracy theories that her and Cenk are talking about with the Jews and stuff like that. Like you said earlier, it's kind of great when the left eat their own.
Well, it's not only that, but if you notice, because of course I like paying attention to the little things, he's accusing her of not attacking the right or doing anything. But notice, Destiny's a monologue machine now, and it hasn't given her any time to have space, any headspace to even attack the right or even point out problems with the right, because he's on this mountain that he wants to die on, and he won't stop this incessant prattling to even give her time to even correct the right or any conservative issues. And that's the problem there. He's not giving her any room to do this, but accusing her of not doing this. Ironic. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
once. Don't make things up, you disgusting prick.
Let me
That's
bring
okay,
in
don't
Jack
worry.
again. Let me
Damn.
bring in Jack again. Jack, Peter Navarro earlier was talking about directly to Elon Musk about, in his view, the urgent need for Elon Musk to detoxify X, given that he owns the platform, and that he blamed X for a lot of the toxicity in public discourse. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think there's obviously a tension between, standing and wanting free dialogue and freedom of speech, but also maintaining a line beyond calling for violence and calling for direct violence or direct criminal activity. So, X in its original Twitter fashion, if you go all the way back to, 2012, 2010, when it was really getting going, they used to pretty much the main things that were banned or would get taken down or get accounts banned were posting of direct addresses of people, so doxing, or posting direct threats to violence. And so I think there needs to be that line set of this is acceptable discourse. This is a back and forth, but the idea that a direct call for violence should be banned, I think that's something that I would support.
Andrew, what do you feel about the social media aspect of all this? Do you think that it is culpable to a degree in the surging toxicity of debate about these things?
Look, social media is a tool. And what social media has done right now is it's allowed us to get a glimpse into leftist ideology, finally. Yeah. And we get to see the insane madness that was always there. And the fact of the matter is that, here on the panel right this second, you have a guy who celebrated a multitude of these types of things, including telling his co-host that basically Trump, the worst place that the assassin could have put the bullet was anywhere other than Trump. I mean, I got the clip of him doing it. And so the thing is like, what we've noted now, these people are glad. They're glad. They're happy. They love it. I go on TikTok all the time and I debate with these people. It's very clear that leftists are glad that this happened and that they're going to do everything they can to promote more of it. And we're supposed to base our behavior on what the president does or doesn't say. What, like if Biden, if I had Biden derangement syndrome, I couldn't still come out and condemn political violence? Of course I could. But the thing is
I'm just curious. Anybody have any words for the fact that Charlie Kirk said that Biden should have been executed?
Leftists collectively can't seem to do that, though. I don't know why they can't seem to do that.
No, that was fine when Charlie Kirk said it. Okay,
Anna, I want to mention something to you, which I was going to talk to Cornel West
Charlie
about.
Kirk was a moderate. He was more moderate than a local electrician.
Yeah, nice pivot.
He was more moderate than a local electrician, and you know that.
He said he wanted to see Biden.
You have debated with the worst,
and
I've seen you do it. You know,
Biden executed. Okay, give me a fucking break.
No, that's not what he said.
Any of this
that's
stuff.
not what he said. He said if you violate criminality in criminal laws,
performative outrage,
then that will be the case.
All right, I want to ask Anna.
There's not what's performative. What's performative?
Oh, wait, so I say, oh well, I think that guy was a criminal. Therefore, the execution is okay. Somehow that makes everything fine with no investigation, no criminal charges.
You say all the time that your political opponent should be in jail and highest extent of the law. You say it all the time. What are you talking about?
Sorry, no, that's Donald
saying
Trump.
the word performative doesn't mean anything.
The National Guard right now.
Oh, it's just
performative
investigations
into
every that's just performative.
I want to bring Anna back in. I want to bring Anna back in. Okay, I want to bring Anna back in because the president-elect of the Oxford Union, probably the most premier debating society in the world. I've done it several times myself. George Aberonye reportedly posted he did post several comments in a WhatsApp group appearing to celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk. One said, Charlie Kirk got shot. Let's fucking go. Another one was, I think, LOL. This guy is going to be the president of the Oxford Union Debating Society. And yet he is celebrating the murder of somebody he literally debated himself in the Oxford Union in May. I found that terrifying. I mean, he shouldn't still be in the job because how can you possibly be the head of a debating society when you think the way to debate with people is murder them if they don't agree with you? But again, the gleeful celebration. This is supposedly one of the brightest students in Britain. President of the new Oxford Union Debating Society.
He can't be that bright if he's not considering what a political assassination could potentially lead to. Because where does this end? And that's like one of my biggest issues with a portion of the left. Their inability to see past the current moment, right? You're celebrating it, but what's the long-term goal here? Is the long-term goal to just have to descend to an environment of endless political assassinations and violence? And if we're going to have the left go up against the right in terms of violence, in terms of bloodshed, in terms of shootings, I don't know. I would just venture to say that the right is probably going to do a better job in, taking people out than the left is. This is just a really disgusting, sick ideology, and we need to move away from it. And again, I want to emphasize your personal behavior, the way you choose to behave and respond to things on a day-to-day basis has an impact. Okay, be the change you want to see in the world. So when you have a huge audience And that audience of young people who look up to you, who feel inspired by you, hear you essentially minimize political violence or even make excuses for it or deflect by blaming Trump for everything. Well, you're essentially indoctrinating people to support and normalize political violence. We can't be doing that. I don't care how people behave on the right. That's not going to have an impact on how I personally choose to behave. I want to be better than that. I want to preach dialogue, okay? Debate, have these conversations. And, you know, Charlie Kirk, the last debate he and I had, you know, Destiny would like you to believe that I agree with the right on everything. I don't agree with the right on everything. We debated about whether or not you have to have children in order to care about the future of this country. So we have a debate and it's fine. He has a right to his opinions. I have the right to mine. If you care about democracy, the democratic process is reliant on having these types of conversations and reliant on not resorting to violence because you're unable to articulate your arguments effectively against the other side. That's what I see this assassination as. Again, it was cowardice. It was disgusting. It was cold-blooded murder, and no one should be celebrating it. And no one should be mocking the family members of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, very well said. I just want to thank all the panel for joining.
Yeah, I think Anna said it best right there. You know, at the end of the day, it's like you can only control yourself, and the left, they're not taking any sort of responsibility. Destiny being the prime example right here in this debate. He's the representative of the left here, and he was showing exactly what the left are and the type of rhetoric that they continue to spew even after this horrific tragedy.
Well, not just that. I would like to say that he doesn't move. If Trump doesn't move, he won't tell people to denounce anything unless Trump does. To me, he doesn't there's nothing indicative of leadership in his, what he does in his stance, which shows you that not only is he not a leader, but his ideology that he spews isn't leadership rhetoric. He doesn't do anything unless he follows. That's literally what he's saying. But if you tell him this in the debate, he's going to say, no, I have complete control over my audience and what they do. By his rhetoric right here, he doesn't. Because when it doesn't suit him or benefit him, he'll pawn it off to somebody else and project. But when he'll take ownership on anything that he has advantage of or he stands to gain of, he'll do this all day. So he has a double standard to which he will hold other people to. But himself doesn't have any accountability himself for. So this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think the left, like, they're not going to learn. They're just going to keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. And before you know it, their ideology, like their group is just going to keep getting smaller and smaller until they're not going to have any power left in this society. And I can't wait until that happens personally.
Yeah, they're losing people in mass. So that's the thing, though, is like I said, there's a massive migration and a conversion that's happening. I would even say that there's a big split, a massive migration happening. People are opening their Bibles for the first time on the left. They're saying, I'm disgusted by my own party's views. And then not to mention this, but it's fracturing and breaking up. As we speak, I'm seeing videos of people saying, you know what? I'm sick of people celebrating his death. Meanwhile, Destiny right now might as well be celebrating because Andrew Wilson called him out and said, hey, you're happy for his death. Notice how Destiny, by the way, didn't say, yeah, I'm happy or I'm not happy. He actually just pointed blame at Trump the whole time. And what is this? This isn't leadership qualities of anybody else by their kind. Meanwhile, he's responsible and doesn't own the onus is on him to denounce Trump, yet he still won't do by the end of this debate. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, no, exactly. 100%. Not a leader whatsoever, but he wasn't even a leader in his old household. You know what I mean? So I think that says it all pretty much about Destiny and his character and why, I don't know, maybe why he's all miserable all the time. But I have to say this for clipping purposes now. What did you guys think about this? Don't go anywhere yet. The stream's not over. I have to say this for clipping purposes. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this. Martae, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on X as Mighty Martae, and you can find me on the channel at On The Edge. I also have a Give, Send, Go if you want to send me to DebateCon. That would be awesome to actually attend because Sarah the Raging Tomato said, hey, you shouldn't pay for your own trip. help any. You should ask for your fan base to send you and actually put in a donation to help you go to DebateCon, so that way you can meet people who also support your debate. You can also find me on not just Twitter, but Instagram at _ the Real Mighty Mouse. By the way, the last thing I do want to say is I look forward to debating Destiny next time, because watching him fail miserably in this just not only gives me so much fire and ammunition to destroy him even more so, but I look forward to decimating him and you covering the footage of this burial happening as Destiny fails in another debate. So I look forward to it.
Hell yeah. So if you guys like this one, I got more content on the screen that I think you'll enjoy. So once again, guys, I'm not fucking leaving. I am not fucking leaving. I just got to say that for clipping purposes. There's still more live stream to come, guys. We're actually going to be covering a recent panel that Martae was on, where he was going against Fatty, who was also trying to justify a lot of this nonsense. And I personally got a little bit worked up. So I asked Martae if he wanted to come join me on the show. We could review it together. I wanted to start doing this with some of the reviews that I cover. If I am in contact with any of the reviewers, I want to start doing this on a regular basis, because I like to get in the insight of your guys. Is like when you're in the middle of it, what were you thinking? Maybe things that maybe you'd rather said, or you know what I mean? So that's why we have Martae here today. But before we move on to the next segment, let me show a little bit, guys. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please hit that like button. It'll help me out a lot. And also, what am I going to put? Oh, yeah. Subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos every day, so you'll be helping me out a lot. Also, click that notification button. And also join the Discord, too. I have all of these links in the description down below, but join the KEWlV1C Discord. There's a lot of things to do on there. You could suggest topics, talk about religion, talk about pretty much a lot of stuff. So go ahead and check that out. Also, become a member to my channel. You'll be helping me out a lot. It's pretty inexpensive, and you'll get access to custom emojis, previous live streams, and I shout you out when I see you. And lastly, follow me on X. Martae, once again, if you would like to shout out your channel and all that stuff, I could bring it up for the screen.
I want to demonstrate something real quick. So this is very remedial education for you. So as you see, you'll see a like button right here. Notice how I just pushed that button right there. How I didn't pay anything. It didn't take me any effort. The muscles in this finger don't take any extra protein drinks or anything. I don't have to do anything. All I did was just push that right there. If you at home could just push this right here like I just did right now. Wow, such magic. I just showed you guys this amazing ability to hit this button. If you could do that at home, that would make me happy. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly. Click that link, that like button. Like Martae said, doesn't take much effort whatsoever at all. And also, too, I'm going to bring up his channel once again, so I could ask you to subscribe to his channel once again. That also doesn't take much effort. All you got to do is just click that subscribe button. Martae, I've seen it. He uploads pretty much videos all the time, clips from various debates that he does. This guy is working hard out there. He is debating a lot, and they're pretty entertaining as well. Like I watched a few, and some of the people that he debates, you wouldn't believe. And so, anything else you want to promote, Martae?
No, that's about it. I just need you to keep staying out here and kicking some ass. I would look forward to burying more people, and these liberals need to be eviscerated. They need to be put in their place and taken out. Just like this, right? I could snap my fingers like this, but just tune into the debates and tune into me on the Raging Tomato and everywhere else as I constantly eviscerate these liberal scumbags.
Hell yeah. So now, speaking of Martae, and people brought up how he's on the Raging Tomato, so that's what we want to talk about here. And let me pull it up. By the way, speaking of Raging Tomato, tonight, Wick wants to debate against Jim Bob. And it's a 2-on-2, but it should be pretty good. Wonder if Jim Bob's going to be challenging anyone to a fight. Okay.
The Fatty panel was very entertaining, as they had some horrific bad takes. So it was quite entertaining for me to even watch myself being on this.
Yeah. So is there any part that you want me to come in on? Because this is Any specific parts at all, or is it more toward the middle, maybe?
I didn't know if we were going to do the fatty one first because that was quite entertaining.
Oh, is it the one with the which one? Is it the one with the gay guy or the one with
It was the one where we were talking about I think it was Fatty, Sarah Tomato, and it's the
okay,
reason
that one.
they just did,
Okay.
yeah, about the bus
All right.
and yeah.
All right, I'll pull that one up then. Okay, let me see.
If you
Try
can't
and
find it
analyze.
here, I did link it on my channel as well too, so it's also there too.
Okay, that might be easier.
So if you go look on the live videos, you'll see it. It's Charlie Kirk and Irina Zarutska. Yeah, it's
Okay,
the
yeah.
conversation. That's the one right there.
All right. So okay, so any part that you want me to come in on, or
Anywhere in the towards the beginning or middle, it's always good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think of. It's probably going to be around here. I'm trying to think of when I started listening in. I'll start it right here at the 55-minute mark.
Because you had mentioned, you said there was something that you got antsy about this panel, and I was like, let's hone in on this because this is a really good conversation where Fatty was saying, no, we're accusing people of being terrorists when it happens on the other side. We burn down cities, meaning like if the roles were reversed and this was a black woman, they'd be burning down those cities. But now all of a sudden, we're not doing any of this stuff. Mind you, I'll put out a little tidbit. The person who slashed her throat, his half brother did the same damn thing, ironically enough, took out a white person and is in prison for killing somebody too. And their father is a career criminal. So if you notice that this runs in the family.
Yeah, wow. I actually didn't even know that. I heard something about the brother. I had no idea about the father though. So that is just wild.
And like I said, this is a culture thing that happens. Once again, I'm not railing against black people per se, but it's the culture that I'm always constantly attacking and magnifying and exposing.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I think sometimes it a little upsets me because it seems like I'll see Fatty and some of the other that people here that are black. They'll always like get really defensive. Like, you can't criticize anything that a black person does. You know what I mean? And it's like, on one hand, you guys don't want to be treated like a monolith, but at the same time, you seem to kind of defend each other like a monolith. It's like, pick one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So here we go.
Black people are put at the forefront when, again, like you said, white people been killing shit for a long time. No pun intended, right? And we talk about anything, Timothy McVeigh. We're not even talking about what was the Ted Kaczynski, stuff like that. That the masses of people. Now we do have the black people got the DC sniper. You feel me? But when we're talking about a majority of people and so on and so forth, that is
oh, by the way, Martae, if there's any point that you want me to stop on because you got something to say or add or anything like that, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, I'll for sure let you know. Yep.
A stereotype or archetype already of white people. So Ali, your point, I wanted to answer this question. The reason why we can't name 10 people is because no one cares about white people committing crimes and white people getting shot by white police or whatever. The news, if it bleeds, it leads. That's the thing they lead with, right? So they're always going to show you something to where it's a racial disparity so they can get clicks and views. I can name you two. Well, I can name one and I can describe the other. Tony Temple, the same thing that happened to George Floyd happened to Tony Temple. I think it was like a couple years before. No one gave a fuck. No one cared, right? Same exact fucking situation, right? Police was laughing and joking and everything. The other one was the white dude that was in the hotel. I think he was like exterminator or something. He was down on his knees. And the cop motherfucking blew his ass away. I think this was at the beginning of when they started doing body cams. But again, because it's white men and white people, you don't have the racial play to play there.
Speaking of which, that incident he brought up, I think I've seen that video is online of the white guy. He's like crawling on his knees and the cop just shoots him. That got brought up like years ago around that time when there was this narrative that black people are just being hunted. And the thing is that that kind of breaks the narrative that shows that sometimes it's not like a race issue. It's just a bad police issue in some of these cases,
Well, here's the thing I'll point out is that there was this huge disparity that they were crying about, this public outcry, right? They were saying police violence was really bad and heinous and ripping through the black community. Well, if you notice, ever since body cams came out, where's all this police violence we have? Well, how come all of a sudden now that we could see this, we're not seeing this huge police violence epidemic that the black community has said? So it's like now all of a sudden that this has been exposed, we don't see this. So is this a myth that was spread by the black community? No, it's just bad propaganda because people constantly want to have this victim ID and pass it from culture to culture within the black community. And that's all this was. I think that this is exposed.
Yeah, and when they brought up wanting like, oh, well, let's have body cams, they're demanding it. I was all for it. I was like, yeah, let's have body cams. I don't care. Let's hold police accountable. Let's, have what happens. But now that it's kind of showing what's really going on, yeah, now we're not seeing a lot of calls for body cams anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost non-existent. And then now that we do see this, if there's any police violence, it's made to look like it's 1,000 people that's happening when really it's the one that we want to magnify and highlight amongst the thousands of positive good police interactions that we have. There are policemen that still rescue cats from trees and do certain things as public service. And that's the thing though, is like if one thing happens, they're going to make this sound like it's a multiplication issue of something that's happening in every single city when it's just one offshoot, one instance that's happened. They'll take the minority and magnify it. That's all that the police cams have done is shown this.
And there's a lot of people on the left that I remember there was something where they would get asked like, how many black people do you think a year gets killed by police? And they thought it was like in the millions, and it's like super like low, like an unarmed black. It's like less than like it's like barely in the hundreds, I think. Like not even like a per year. Yeah. I think it's less than 100. Like it's not even a lot at all.
More whites get shot by police than blacks, actually, if you really want to be honest. That's the stat.
Yeah, but that's how heavy the propaganda was, is that it had people believing like millions a year were being murdered. It's like not even the case.
True.
So I think when we do this thing, it's black people are being manipulated by the media, right? And this is why we think it's this thing, all white people are racist, all cops are bad. Cops save more people than they kill. You feel me? There are literally millions of police interactions, per year. And, if you got millions of interactions with police officers, right? Police have to be paramedically trained, help kids from choking and all kinds of different things. But to black people, they just want to kill you and lock you up. So I think, once we get past the whole, the things and the stuff that happened in the past was, the dogs, the water hoses, racist police, KKK members and all that shit. But I think as we move it up and we get away from that ideology, right, things could improve and we start having the honest conversation about how things really are with policing and shit.
You still get followed when you go to Asian stores? Fantastic.
Me, no, I don't get followed. I look like I got money, so they know better.
Oh, wait. Go ahead, Ollie.
But I disagree. If something happens to a white child,
real quick, Martae, does Fatty live in America or no?
No, he doesn't. He's definitely outside of the country. He lost a debate to me, so he owed me Uber Eats and had to go to Ilkhan Ali as pictured here and have him send me money instead because he definitely doesn't live here at all.
Wow, that's funny. So what is he even talking about, like getting followed and store? Like, why is he even commenting on this if he doesn't even live here?
He doesn't live in the United States at all. But one thing I will say is if you could just go back to, I think it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's when the real conversation happens. And that's when I mean, not to highlight myself here, but to me, Fatty's got a lot of issues when he talks about American culture, but doesn't even live here. He's a huge fan of American sports, but doesn't live here, like I said. And to me, I think that whenever I see him on a panel, there's this huge distinction. I respect him as a host of debates because he's a moderator, right? Yeah. But then again, I won't respect him whenever I'm on his channel because he has to peel me off of the dead bodies of people who I not. By the way, it's like hyperbole that I'm stating this. He has to peel me off of the bodies of people I destroy on his panels whenever there's like the recent panel that I've had and I literally do debates where I should lose this, where I'm saying that whites should get reparations from blacks. There's no way that I should have just eviscerated whole panels on this. And I come here and Fatty's like, oh, hold on, Martae. No, 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 no. This is him having to pull me off of the bodies of the people that I'm eviscerating. And I love being on his panels, but I'll also eviscerate him from time to time too. So
Yeah, that's funny.
We're going to see what you guys think about this. Go ahead, Tina.
No, it's supposed to be Martae first.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was distracted. Fuck you, Martae.
yeah, I think we have a duty. Somebody could have ran and stopped the blood or held the neck or something. Nothing happened. And that's problematic. If you have people just standing by, and I'm not saying that anybody could have stopped the stabbing that happened. It happened too fast. Nobody could have jumped in. It's unrealistic. But for people to sit down and not stop, hold the neck, the carotid artery, or do anything, they were basically slow to intervention, let alone slow to aid or assist. I think that's very problematic. I totally understand the societal norms of us not helping women out because we're not getting anything in return. But when it comes to these situations, the aftermath, that's the problem that I have with nobody stepped in afterwards. After it happened, there was no after action, no effort to stop this. It was almost like everybody was tone deaf. It just numb. They didn't do anything. It's like they saw this movie 1,000 times. I've seen a woman bleed out. And there was like nothing. There was no compassion for a fellow human being that was bleeding out. That's the problem that I have. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's so crazy, Martae. That's like a good point too. And I was tripping out because you see people are just standing there acting like nothing happened. There's even a guy, and I was like, dude, if I were in that train, I was aware that just happened. Like he had his back turned to the stabber, the guy after that, DeCarlos. He had his back turned to him. I was like, I wouldn't be able to have my back turned to that guy, But it's I don't know. What do you like? Why do you think we've become so numb to that?
Here's the thing though. If you look at the other passengers, they weren't white, were they? And I'm not being racist when I say that. Well, I can't be unless I hate myself. When I say this, this is indicative of black culture. Ain't none of my business. I don't have it. It's not my family. Well, that's a problem though, is if you don't do anything and you see a child or a woman being, taken out in front of you, you're damn near complicit. I'm glad that I wasn't on that bus or that train because I'd be in locked up right now because I would have whooped everybody's ass on this bus. So
yeah, no, exactly. It's the same thing too. Like, even with like the neighborhoods and stuff, when the cop comes, asking around about like a murder that happened, it's like, well, they don't want to be a snitch. I ain't no snitch, And yeah, that's
it's hilarious because black culture will say I'm anti-snitch, meanwhile filming themselves doing said crime, which is hilarious. Themselves while doing said crime. Also, I'd like to not fast forward, but kind of like tell you and ruin the movie that I love dragging Powder Dusty whenever I see him on paddles, which happens here in a little bit too.
Oh, nice. All right, we'll see Fatty's response, and then we'll see you go back and forth with Dusty.
How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I could be agreeable with Martae as well. I think
So this is Sarah talking about your response. All right.
Inevitably correct. In this very particular instance, there was nothing anybody could do to stop what already happened from happening. That is true. That is fact. Nobody could have intervened on that moment. However, the after effect was a very disturbing imagery. Nobody even shell-shocked, nobody looking over, nobody concerned, nobody gasping, and instead they just sat there and kept to themselves and completely ignored the entire situation and as it was happening. And I think that is disturbing. I don't think it's a matter of should Americans step in to help foreigners. I think it's just a matter of should one neighbor stand in to help the other. In this instance, that's exactly what that was.
Okay. How about you, Tom?
All right, we could skip forward. Where do you get into it with Dusty?
Well, it's after Mr. Fantastic. By the way, I'd love to debate Tom. He's actually, I think that he would actually be a formidable debate person to debate against, especially on anything political. He's also a liberal leftist. I think that he would provide more of a challenge than Destiny, believe it or not. As crazy as that sounds.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I've kind of heard of him, but I'm not really familiar. I haven't really seen much of his debates. I saw a little bit of him here in this panel, but wow, that's pretty cool. I'll check him out.
Yeah.
Let's see. So after you said Tom speaks, right? Then Powder Dusty comes in.
Well, because Fantastic basically says I agree with Martae too, but it's after Fantastic.
Okay, after Fantastic.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, let me see. I think I see Dusty.
No
I don't know if he
matter
just.
where the
Let's see what
America
Fatty says.
first. Like other people lives don't matter as long as USA is winning. Fuck the Ukrainians, fuck the Palestinians, fuck Fatty, fuck the Portuguese, fuck everybody. So I think our life matters a lot, actually. I truly believe that a life is a life, no matter where the DNA lottery lands you on this planet. So sorry that that happened to that woman. She didn't deserve that. And actually, and Tom sent me a picture of it. She was actually helped. She wasn't helped immediately because people didn't know what was the relationship between her and the man, right? A lot of times people don't meddle because they don't know if those people are fighting because they know each other. We have all the context. We know that those people are strangers. We have no idea what they're going through, but a lot of times we might think this is a boyfriend and a girlfriend. This is a co-worker situation, and people mind their business because they don't know what the relationship is, and a lot of times we know the person that puts himself in the middle usually gets the worst part of the deal. So I think this is the new uh, way. Okay, no man protecting woman, no people put themselves in harm's way because somebody's in distress. People wait for the smoke to clear and then go to the rest of the situation and help. So that's what happened. And unfortunately, she passed away. But there's no more uh, white horses and all that. Actually, it still happens because that's our nature. But for the most part, this is a new society where people mind their business, and there's nothing you can tell people. You can tell them that they're wrong because those people have a family to come home to. And if
So real quick, he's saying a lot, but man, there's just so much there. First of all, it's so sad that this woke ideology, it even extends just outside of America, because he says no matter if they won the DNA lottery, trying to say, oh, because she's white, like she won the DNA lottery. First of all, that's like sad that you think of someone thinks of everything that way, like their skin color, whether or not they're gonna have a good position in life. And then second of all, it's so wild the whole people aren't gonna get themselves involved because they don't know if it's a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, dude, he just stabbed her. It's clear that it's not some kind of boyfriend and girlfriend situation. And even if it like were, that still doesn't mean no one should like jump in. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just wild, all the things Fatty just said right there.
I agree. There's in 2025, I don't believe that there's any such thing as white privilege. I think that that's a myth. Also, the second thing I'd like to point out, which is funny every time I hear this, I think the English language is Fatty's biggest opposition. So I think that's why whenever I debate him, he's not only entertaining because I love crushing him, but also he just sounds silly. He sounds like Dexter's Laboratory every time he opens his damn mouth.
Yeah, no, I know it's not. Yeah, it's hard not to make jokes at the accent sometimes. You know what I mean? I think even in here, what is it? He said like hooligans at one point, and it was like hooligans, hooligans, and then
Yeah, I
people were
call him
laughing.
out on this, make fun of him constantly about that. So it's fun.
your husband or your wife lost their life because they tried to meddle in something they had no business in, and now you have some kids that don't have a parent because he tried to be a superhero, you would feel some type of way. So these people had families to come home to. They did what they needed to do.
Can I
It is
put a
what it is.
hypothetical out there?
Absolutely.
What if those, what was it, 4 or 5 people sitting around her, I
Yes.
believe?
Mhm.
What if let's presume 5, okay? What if all 5 people, as soon as they saw her collapsing in that seat, stood up and went to her aid? And if that crazy man turned around and came back to say oh, no, you're going to let her,
Yes.
complete the process of dying. I'm trying to be mindful of my words here. And there were 5, let's see, I think 4 grown ass men and 1 woman. do you think that that man would have felt the need to shut that down? For instance, if there were 4 giant men standing there in front of that young girl, and one of them going to her aid at the very least, do you think he would have like continued the process?
I think he wouldn't do it on the first. I think he wouldn't do it on the first place, because if you notice, it targeted the smallest person in the area, and he probably look around. Even though he's schizophrenic, and those people are crazy. A lot of times when predators attack, they don't attack the biggest man in the room. They go
Right.
at the easiest prey.
We call it to know who to be crazy with. They know what degree of crazy.
So my point is that
also
if
the
all
biggest person
5,
there, though.
but if all 5 of those people stood up and said, "No, we're going to help her, and you're going to go away," if 5 people stood up and said that, more than likely he probably wouldn't have tried to chime in on that. He would have just walked away.
Oh yeah, well no, he
I don't
wasn't.
think
He
that
had
you're thinking
he
that
had
in the moment, though. And normally, if you want somebody to die and the person is trying to kill somebody, normally you're thinking, okay, the person with a weapon right here, right now, if I try to stop them from doing what it is that they're trying to have go to completion, then I'm now somebody who's like in danger as well. I think in the moment, that's what most people would think is he wants this person to die. If I try to stop them from dying, he's going to come after me too.
Yeah, but the thing was in the
5
situation.
people.
Just real quick.
Sorry.
Just real quick.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think if there was actually like more, like if there were like 5 men right there, do you think something would have been done or what?
Well, here's the thing, though. We're positing hypotheticals of what if and what could happen. The real problem with this is in the after action where nobody wanted to help at all. All we can do is just throw what ifs at a situation where community wise, I don't think that it's prevalent for us to help our neighbor. It really isn't, especially in this community that I'll say. And here's the thing. I've noticed that when people say, because I saw in the chat, people say, well, I don't judge people based on their skin color. Well, we have pattern recognition. We're pattern recognition machines. So if I do see something, I was in law enforcement for a very long time. So if I saw a black person with their pants sagging, I'm thinking that this guy isn't here to do some corporate business deal on the street somehow. Like I'm thinking that he's probably up to doing no good. And I'm thinking that if I see somebody with a bonnet on her head and she's screaming, I'm not thinking that her name is Lucy Stevens. She's probably Shanae Jenkins, and she's probably got a loud attitude problem with me. So these things, if we look at stereotypes, there's a bit of truth in this. So I think that on this bus, I don't think that, if we think about these people standing up, I think that, yes, there would have been like a kind of a deterrent nature in this. But at the same time, they are their own worst enemy when they say, no, we want to accuse everybody of not helping us, but you won't help anybody else, but you adopt this victim ID culture within your culture. To me, this doesn't make any sense, and you perpetuate this by your own sword in your own account.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm gonna try to find the where you go back and forth with Dusty. So is it gonna be toward like the first like half hour, or is it gonna be a little bit past?
It was right after I had my opening statement.
Oh, right after your okay.
Yeah, right after that, right after I had my word, Dusty was like, I'm gonna disagree with Martae on this. And I was like, I love it when people disagree with me, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not a fascist because I implore my opponents to actually say something. I will not muzzle their speech at all. Because here's the thing, though, I'm open enough to have my mind changed by even the most looniest people. Yeah, that's not probably going to happen unless they have a better logical argument or understanding or grounding in what they're talking about. I mean,
yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. So it was it was after when you spoke at the 2-minute 30-second mark.
Yeah, it was after that at some point.
All right, let me see here.
Sarah
nothing happened, and that's problematic. If you have people just standing by, and I'm not saying that anybody could have stopped the stabbing that happened. It happened too fast. Nobody could have jumped in. It's unrealistic.
From happening, nobody even shell shocked, nobody looking over and
around with a knife. You don't help them.
Yeah, when you go to Fantastic,
Okay, how about you, Athena?
Okay.
Yeah, man. In this context, with that,
Okay, so after this,
I think
all right.
it's I think Martae probably gave the best thing. Actual intervention during the fiasco, I can halfway understand, even though I think most people, if you saw somebody in the act of getting assaulted or shot or stabbed or whatever, at the very least of not physically intervening, bringing to people's attention. But most importantly, like you said, the aid after the fact, I think that was the problem. And what made it so crazy was it was two women that got up and left, right? A man had to come away from another train car, I believe, or way further up. Someone followed the blood trail from where he was bleeding to figure out what had happened to her. So she literally had people that had, I'm not going to say witnessed or understood what was going on, but they saw her bleeding, and instead of doing aid, they just ran off.
Right. No, I agree with you. How about you, Dusty?
Well, I guess I'll be the only one that thinks that what Martae said is completely bitch made. It doesn't matter what nationality somebody is, and it doesn't matter if you notice Martae said they didn't get anything. You can understand men not defending women because they don't get anything in return, which is the complete bitch made part of it. You defend somebody because it's the right thing to do because you're a man, right? Not because you expect them to give you a free pizza coupon to Domino's after or something. So I think that I didn't watch the video. I intentionally didn't watch it because I don't like rage bait content. But no, I think that answer is bitch made, and that you should help people mostly just because you're a person, and that's the right thing to do. I don't think it needs to go any deeper than that.
Before we get to Mr. Fatty, Martae, you like the rebuttal, man?
Yeah, I'm going to rebuttal this. I was referring to the societal norm that we have in saying to obfuscate and go away from this societal norm. I was acknowledging that societally we have a norm to say, hey, I'm not going to help and go away from this. I was actually objecting to the societal norm. So when you say it's bitch made, it doesn't really.
And
make
I
any
apologize for misunderstanding what you said. I thought you said the opposite of what you apparently
Right.
did.
I need you to listen next time I'm talking. Okay.
Well, okay, now it's back in place. It's bitch made.
Yeah, go ahead. Fatty, next.
Well, I love the love on the panel, boy. Go ahead, Fatty.
So I have a song to sing to y'all. Okay.
I'm a real American.
This is one thing I'll say. One thing I'll say is, if you listen to him, I mean, hindsight's 2020. He said, I didn't watch the video at all. Why the hell are you on this panel if you haven't seen the footage and you don't know anything but hearsay? To me, I should have actually pointed this out. I thought about this, but Fatty's singing was killing my eardrums. So, of course, this is also distraction that liberal scumbags on the left to use as well, too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, if you didn't see yeah, you're absolutely right. Why is he here on the panel? And it's so weird how he called it, well, it's rage bait. It's like, no, it's actual footage of something that happened. That's getting shared online. It's not, it wasn't created to enrage people. It's something that happened. It's real life. A woman died, was murdered. And so it's wild that he just calls it, well, I don't watch rage bait. It's like, what are you talking about?
And that's the thing, though. Before the podcast, I was talking so much shit to Fatty about his voice, about how it's going to make men infertile just hearing this. And I just went on the warpath hearing this. And he's like, oh, you want to talk shit? And I was like, Dexter's Laboratory. Like, I literally just went on and just started roasting the shit out of him. And Ilkhan Ali, I dragged him in the past, too. Dusty, I think that we have like kind of a good oppositional back and forth. Whenever I have panels with him, I'll constantly fight him. And I said, sometimes I'll even do this for no reason because you're easily triggered. Unlike me, nothing triggers me. I don't get pissed or anything like this. But it's so funny because whenever you have him, he's very ambiguous in his political leanings. I'll never say like he's a leftist. I actually don't know what side he's on, so I don't want to frame him in a bad light. But people like this are easily triggered, and they're so easy to mess with that I'll constantly just be their opposition, and it's fun.
When you right now you're talking about Fatty, right? Like you don't know the side that he's on that you said?
No, this is Dusty.
Dusty,
Fatty,
okay. Yeah.
Dusty.
No.
Yeah, Dusty, I don't know his political leanings or anything like that, so I don't want to mischaracterize him, but he's easily triggered, and it's fun to just punch him like a punching bag. And Ryan, Radical Coder, and Soy Pill, and there's plenty of others as well, too.
That's funny. Yeah, it's true. I've seen Dusty a few. I think he, I don't know if it's this panel, but I remember at some point he does say, like, I'm not really on, I don't know which side I'm on, really. Like, he seems to be kind of like one of these, like, centrist dudes or center guys, or you know what I mean?
Well, I dislike his ideology more. The reason why is because if you hear the terminology of lukewarm and fence sitter, Those aren't good terms to be called. So it's like, because I can't identify you, I have to attack you even harder, because liberals who are staunch liberals on the left, they can be recognizable. I at least respect that. But if you can't pick a side and you want to be a fence sitter and lukewarm, I don't know if you're the person that's going to stab me in the back or not. I don't trust you even more so because you're unrecognizable wearing a fence sitter camouflage on. And this, to me, this doesn't make any sense when we're fighting one side and the next and you don't want to pick a side. Yeah, I distrust you even more by that rhetoric alone.
I actually agree with you 100%. I used to call him like a no good lousy centrist, you know, and exactly for that reason. You know,
Yep.
at least with, like you said, though, with the left, at least I know where they stand, you know. But if you're a centrist, it's like, yeah, exactly. You kind of don't know, and it's like, why are you going to trust someone like that?
This is why I will never hearken or beckon for people to be muzzled or censored, because the moment you start censoring people, the harder it is to recognize who somebody is. And we're close in proximity to anybody else when we're doing debates. I don't want to be close with anybody and I don't recognize who they are. What did Brutus do to Caesar? We have to think about things like this. Who is Judas to Jesus? So if we think about this, it's like we have to recognize our opposition. If I don't recognize you because you're wearing centrist camouflage on, yeah, I'm right to not trust you. So Dusty, I hold him at a certain length, but he's a good punching bag to hold at certain length.
That's funny. All right, Martae, is there any other parts that you had in mind? Because I'm trying to find the part that I was specifically listening to. But if there's any other parts that you redid some wrecking, let me know. Is there any that you had in mind?
I sparingly wrecked throughout this, but we'll go find the parts that you that stuck out to you, and we might end up on a part that I was on as well too.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, I should have written down a timestamp, but it was probably like a little after an hour in. So let me pop in here.
It's fine. We can organically do this on the fly. I don't mind this. This is fun. So
hell yeah.
Saying black people communicate.
And let me
finish.
Let me finish. Black people, even by other black conservatives,
You're
told
not being
go back
done
to
yet,
Africa. Go back to Africa if you have a problem with it. White people aren't being told go back to England, go back to Europe. We're not telling white people that. So
we don't have the victim fetish that you have.
It's not no victim stat.
It's a victim fetish.
Let me know when I can finish. When I can land. When I can finish.
You think that white
So,
people?
Hold on. So what is the ultimate victim? Isn't make America great again? From white people that's wearing MAGA hats to say "Make America Great Again." What does that mean? If we're
you don't think there's black people that are MAGA?
Yeah. This part right here, when they say "Make America Great Again," they always look back to like, oh yeah, we were talking about we want to bring back slavery or something, and it's so wild, you know?
Right. It's victim ID culture. That's really what they're doing. And they're proving his whole point. So there are times when I support Dusty when he's wrecking these people because there's a tier system. I'll say radical coders down here, but then Destiny's really beneath him. And there's like a tier level. Dusty's like up here somewhere where Fatty's like beneath them somewhere. So it's like, I'm not talking shit about anybody here, but I'm telling you, as far as people that I want to take out and who I box with in this lane, I like watching him. He's the Anna Kasparian in this situation, whereas Ilkhan Ali is the Destiny in this situation. So if you could pay attention to this discourse, look at the titles and labels I gave them, and you'll recognize the distinction right now automatically.
Yeah, no, exactly. And Dusty brought up a good point too about how there's a lot of black people on Mega as well. So what is this Ilkhan talking about?
Can I finish? If
you asked me a motherfucking question, you baby.
No, I'm acting like a baby. Now I'm a baby. How am I being a baby expressing myself? This is what I mean. So the black American is a baby now, right?
You're a baby.
Why am I a baby?
It's not a race thing.
Why am I a baby?
He's a baby for controlling himself and giving his opinion.
Right.
The baby is the one that is interrupting while he's eating pizza.
Right.
Right.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing about what happens in this country. Liberals and conservatives hate each other. Democrats and Republicans hate each other until it's time to hate a person of color, and then everybody comes together until they use those people of color to help to hate foreign people. Then black people will come together. But the problem is when black people express themselves from a cultural standpoint, they're told to go back to a different country where the black person that may be supposedly conservative, fantastic, I'm conservative, but I can address what's happening to black people at the same time without being anti-white. But a lot of black people who are prominent now do speak on a narrative that white people are pushing promotion, and that's why they gain fame. White people, like when Martae asks how I can be racist, depending on who you promoting, we know that white people love promoting Candace Owens. We know white people love promoting Jesse Lee Peterson, Sheriff Clark. But when you bring up people like, if we just start talking about Kaepernick for taking a knee when a white soldier told him to take a knee just to address what was happening in his country, he lost his entire career. So it's different things. When the Chiefs kicker addressed what was happening about wanting homemakers, white women to be women to be homemakers, not white women, he was promoted, he was supported. So when a black person expresses himself, he's demonized, dehumanized, and told go back to Africa. When a white man expresses himself, he's American. He's a human being.
The white guy that spoke at the school was demonized heavily. He was called a misogynist, a sexist, and everything else. He got drugged through the mud for that.
We're talking about race. We're not talking about being a misogynist and misandrist. We're talking about how you're supported differently when you have when white men disagree, they're not told to go back to a different. Can you address Martae without moving the goalpost? Can you address the fact when white men disagree, they're not telling each other go back to a different country? Can you address that?
When have you been told that?
Can you address that? Can you address that?
I was waiting for my turn to respond, but apparently fucking Ali never
Go ahead,
finished.
I'm sorry, the
talking.
baby. Oh, hold on.
Ali, when have you been? When was the last time you were told?
Well, you know, before you went back to Dusty, what did you think about that? What were we going to say right there?
Well, the problem with this is the Kaepernick situation was brought upon him himself. When he talked about police brutality during that time, we didn't have an epidemic of police brutality. And then he said, well, I'm not going to say the Pledge of Allegiance because it's racist. Nationally, nobody had a problem with the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that when we have propaganda and we make up our own victim identity status, that's what happened in the Kaepernick situation. He wanted the attention, the same thing that Destiny wanted. We wanted attention and bring attention to a problem that was non-existent. This is the problem with the culture. We'll see something and we have a mood, right? We let our mood and our feelings dictate whatever propaganda we have. I wanted to feel like a victim this day, and that's what happened. So when we look at Cap, that's exactly what happened. There wasn't an epidemic of police brutality that happened, but he wanted to say, oh, because one situation happened, oh, there's a nationwide epidemic, and I'm taking the disrupting a whole American game, disrupting a business. This is what the NFL is, a business during the whole time and creating disruption. When you compare this to the white issue, it's night and day. This is a stupid rhetoric talking point that they were bringing up, and I was about to demolish the shit out of them. But then, of course, what Ilkhan Ali does is skip Dusty's turn and go straight to me because I was about to obliterate the shit out of him, and I was going to let them have their discourse instead.
Yeah, that's everything you said is 100% true, though.
Let me cry. Let me finish crying.
When was the last time you were told to go back to Africa?
Go ahead.
I'm all the
You're
time. saying,
you're
"Go back to
personalized with
Portugal,
me.
you
I've
fat
been
fuck."
told.
Why you
I've
hear
been
me
told-
this?
Fatty, well, Fatty, of course, it's obvious he's not from. I mean, yeah, he's well, he doesn't even live in America. But even if you didn't know that, you could tell. Like, you're wondering, like, hey, is he from here? Or, I mean, not from here, but does he live here, or is he in his whatever country he's from? Was it Portugal?
Yes. I'll say one thing real quick, though. Ilkhan Ali, he'll tell you this, and I'm just going to make an assumptive claim. I'm just going to say this, but I could have just imagined, maybe he could check me on camera later on about this. But according to their logic, weren't we supposed to be slaves during this Trump administration? Where are the handcuffs? Where are my shackles at?
Yeah.
Thing, if you hate America so much, why don't you just leave? You don't have to stay here and burn flags and destroy symbols that we have. To me, there's a difference between having freedom of speech and burning symbols, and also taking accountability from blacks committing violence and saying, no, this doesn't happen. What about the white terrorists at the same time? What they do is obfuscate. They're an obfuscation machine. And of course, I'm saying this because it's repeated ad nauseum by their own action. Ilkhan Ali will deflect the whole time and say, no, whites do this. Make America great again is a racist mantra. That's what he's hinting at. Where's the racism? When we say make America great again, he's not talking about racism, but yet they'll notice how he's bringing it to race again and making this all about race, which was non-existent. Only in this conversation, we talked about a black person murdering a white person. That's it. But now he's going to be a sloganeering machine throughout this whole conversation about how it's race, and he's going to make it one-sided again.
Yeah, but notice like Dusty asked him, like, when was the last time someone told you to go back to Africa? And I'm pretty sure that's never happened in Ilkan's life, you know. But Fatty had to swoop, but Fatty had to swoop in and be like, "Oh, I get told to go back to Portugal." It's like, well, yeah, well, no shit, you got this like strong accent, like no doubt, and you're complaining about America all the time, which you don't even live in. Like, of course, you're gonna get told that. But notice, like I said, he had to swoop in and kind of like defend, you know, his
It's gotta stay
ideological friend.
boy. And that's
Yeah,
what'll
exactly.
happen. I love it when they do this, by the way, because when they had the panel versus me, it was like a me versus everybody on the panel when it came to me telling that white people should get reparations from blacks because they burn whole cities down. Whenever they get pissed and whenever they have DEI programs that robs white people or any other race of opportunity, like I could go on as to why 600,000 white people died so that way you can be freed of slavery. So blood has a cost on your hands, lives has a cost. So when we go into this rhetoric, I loved when Fatty and Ilkan Ali were teaming up against me because I was literally taking them down. No homo, by the way. And also their whole panel at the same time, too, embodying everybody. That's also another great debate that I love to have, too. The first person that I debated initially didn't give me any pushback, but when it came to a whole panel, I was basically beating up on Fatty, Ilkan Ali, and anybody else that came up, too. That was entertaining. But this is the rhetoric that they have, which is adjacent to liberal ideology when we do victim ID culture. Oh, woe is me. Even though nothing happened to you, you just want attention. That's all this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back to Portugal, Fatty.
Do you want to do my personal experience with racism? Or you want to just conflate it to when I was told to go
When
back
is
to
the
Africa?
last time you were told? Yes, you're bringing this up like it's a big issue. We've been sitting here for an hour and a half now, 2 hours if you count backstage time. I haven't heard anybody say it once.
Right. So the fact that you're asking it in the manner you're asking it, I have been told to go back to Africa when I disagree with somebody before, but you're asking it and it don't matter if I tell you that. So why would it matter?
Yeah, because I think
tell you
it's
that.
fucking stupid, and I think that you've got a victim fetish. Like I
Why-
said.
So how am I a victim? If I got two businesses, I support
Because
my
you've been
family.
crying
No,
about
how am I a
offenses that
victim?
haven't happened. That's why I'm asking you. When is the last time this offense
Ask
happened
me
to
how
you?
how am
How
I
do
a
you
victim?
know he has a victim fetish if he never
No,
told
hold
you
on.
he
Hey,
had a
Tom,
victim
let him
fetish,
explain to
Dusty?
me
How
how
do you know
saying
that?
I'm a victim. If
You're
claiming,
assuming his intent.
yeah. So if white
He
people
didn't
say
tell
they're
you that.
losing the country, are they playing victim?
When is the last time
No,
that
no, no.
you had
That's
this?
what I'm saying.
You're
When
moving.
white
You
people
said not to move the
I
goalpost.
did.
So let's keep the
I asked you to tell
goalpost.
me how I'm a
Bring them
victim.
back here.
Yes.
Bring the goalpost back.
Hey, I'm gonna be
When is
quiet.
the last time?
Tell me.
Because you brought this up several times that you've been
Tell me how I'm
texting or
tell
told
me
to go
how I
back to
said I'm a
Africa.
victim.
When
Tell
is
me
the
how I said
last
I'm a
time this happened?
No,
I'm
tell me.
sorry. I'm talking.
Yeah, see, and it's good because when people like they corner them and like have them cornered and actually ask them name the specific example or whatever, they can't do it because they're obviously lying.
Yeah, remember when Destiny, when he said, "Are you going to denounce the murderer?" Destiny kept running and wouldn't answer the damn question, and then went on to not answer 3 more questions as well too. That Ilkan Ali is doing the same thing when he's saying, "Well, when did this happen?" He's actually moving the goalpost even more and continues to do this. It's the same tactic. It's really dirty. But what you have to do, if you notice Powder Dusty, he's really good for doing this. He's holding his feet to the fire here, and I think you have to keep literally repeating yourself because they'll keep running away from this and obfuscating.
Yeah, exactly.
I can answer that. I've been called nigga with the R E
I wasn't
R
asking you, Fatty.
on both on some people panels, right? Some
Fatty,
people
stop
panels.
saving your boy. I wasn't asking you. You didn't make the complaint.
Second time I went to Flow State channel, somebody dropped the N and I'm snitching. It was E-Rock.
No, tell them. Like, I'll be quiet. Tell me how I'm a victim first. Why am I a victim?
They call me.
Can I
Listen to
address
you. You've
what
been
you
crying
said,
the whole
Eileen?
time.
Can you please let him answer? He's not answering.
I know.
I'm
That's why
asking
I'm
you.
like,
I would like to know because you
He's
brought up this.
filibustering right now. So tell me how I'm a victim.
You have brought up this offense several times this debate. Now, I would like to know because I think that is a perfect example of your victim fetish because you keep bringing up this thing that I don't see happening. Maybe I'm wrong. When is the last time you personally were told to go back to Africa?
I haven't been told that in a while. So what
Then
does that
get
got
the
to do?
fuck over it, bro.
What does that got to do with the fact that I've been told that and people are being told that? What does that got to do?
You just admit, oh, I haven't been told that in a while. It's like, oh, well, then there you go then.
It's shut up. I tell
then shut up. That's so great. I love it. That was great. I'm glad that Dusty held him, cornered him right there, forced him. No, you tell me. Had to admit, it hasn't happened in a while. Probably never, to be honest.
he exposed him for not being a victim. Oh, a while. And here's the thing, though. This could have actually happened in the month of February, believe it or not. Even though he says for a while, it's still an omission, which is lying, to be honest, in my book. So when people omit things, but then they want to use it for a complaint, it's literally a straw man. Let me have you attack this thing that it didn't ever happen. It's just lying ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Your victim fetish. You asked to say how you're being a victim.
Hold on.
This is it. You're carrying around this wound with you that hasn't happened and you don't even know how long. Get over it.
So before I address him, can the white people that's on the panel be honest about the fact that black people are being told to go back to a different country when they disagree with somebody? Can y'all be honest about that, please?
Can you be honest about your victim
just
fetish?
like white people are called racist as soon as they disagree with a black person.
Can we not move it first?
You just said that. What was it? The dog whistle?
I didn't ask that.
To move the goalpost again.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I like Fatty's the things that he puts in sometimes. Like later on, he has the one where it's like the Sega, but it's saying the the N-word, and I was like,
yeah, that's what
yeah. I was laughing, but yeah, that's another thing too. Because later on, I don't know if we get to it, but like they talk about how Donald Trump said all these dog whistles, or Charlie Kirk said these dog whistles, and it's like,
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's like, well, pretty much. So what you're saying is pretty much no matter what, he's racist. If he's outright racist, he's racist. If he doesn't say anything racist, well, he's still racist because the things that he's saying are dog whistles. It's like no matter what, they want to be they want to be victims no matter what.
And I was telling them, and Tom Fuller was thinking that he was clapping back at me when I said that the moment anybody states facts or reality, all of a sudden it's a dog whistle. And they said, yeah, it's a dog whistle. Then by your metric, nobody can ever say a thing unless it's delusional then. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't, because if we started doing this, you would accuse us of lying to you then. Okay, so when honesty offends you, all you're doing is muzzling conservatives. That's all you're doing. By the way, me and Fatty got into a massive mute button debate over this. So what he does is he'll play this and he'll say, no, I'm not muting people, while on my end it says the mute button's activated while this video plays. How is this not a mute button? I literally destroyed him in this debate while using this. And Andrew Wilson complained about this, why he left that panel with, I think it was the public offender and then this other woman named Pretty Intellectual. She's not intellectual, by the way. And I actually would argue the first word on that too. And that he left, he said, I thought we had an agreement that you wouldn't hit the mute button. And I was like, Fatty held I think it was a panel saying, if anybody has smoke for me, come on the panel. So I came on the panel and I said, you hit the mute button on people when they have prior agreements with you. And literally that's a good debate that I destroyed him on as well too. So, I mean, Fatty does a lot of double standards here, by the way. That's all I'm pointing out.
On three, fellas. 1, 2, 3, push.
You were the one talking about the dog whistle and all that crap. So yeah, people are going to say go back to America because or go back to Africa because that's the insult to you. You're going to call white people racist or that they're dog whistling. That's what it is.
Even further, won't they tell people to get out the country? They'll probably tell a black or white person to get out the country if you don't like it.
You're so speculative. Can you just admit that you're a victim and you love it?
Can somebody hold up? But I mean, any race could say this. Anybody from Mexico, anybody from the Middle Eastern countries, anybody from Asia, like anybody that doesn't look white could essentially say the same thing as being like, well, they told me to leave and go back to my country, presuming that you're in import, right? Like, show me on the doll where that hurts you.
No, that's not the point. Hold up, Fatty, hold up, Fatty. Last point. No, last point. Is that hypocritical and contrary to the white people that say we fight for the freedom of speech and for the right for people to voice their opinions? Is that hypocritical when you?
But it doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, yeah, even if you get told, "Oh, go back to Africa," it's not shutting you up or anything like that. But then they'll do it all the time. They'll be like, "Well, you're like they'll tell white people you're racist if you say that," which will shut up a white person because they don't want to be seen as racist. You know what I mean? If anything, telling a black person go back to Africa, it's actually going to hurt whoever tells them that, the white person, because it's going to make them appear racist. So it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing as telling a black person go back to Africa.
I agree. They're weaponizing reality and turning it racist. So anything that you state that's a fact or any statistic or data point that actually holds them to a standard of accountability is now turned racist on you, because now all of a sudden I'm a victim of reality, thus making you a racist by their own rhetoric. To me, this is just victim blaming. That doesn't make any sense. And it beckons to this thing that's a psyop that I'm telling you is white guilt. They want you to, and I'm not going to go on this little mantra right now, but they want you to hate yourself as a liberal woman, and then also be absorbed into their culture as a cosplaying blackface woman. Like, that doesn't really make any sense. So they're literally warping reality right now by their own propaganda and rhetoric right now. So that, to me, this just doesn't make any sense.
Telling somebody that they're a victim, stop crying, or you're a snowflake, when this is a country where you're supposed to have the freedom of speech, and people are going, soldiers are going to war for your right to say whatever you want. Is that hypocritical?
Nope, you still have the right
How is it hypocritical?
Have to do with each other. That doesn't make any sense.
still have the right to be a victim, and I have the right to call you fantastic.
Well, no, you tell people that their opinions don't matter and that they should stop talking and just go back to their country versus them saying
in American
freedom of speech.
Oh,
But
God,
obviously,
Tom, you're killing me.
the problem is that the
Can
problem
we
is
race
that
trade, Tom?
the problem is that just by hold on. The problem is that just by like assuming that anybody who isn't white, that they do say, go back to your country, X, Y, and Z, and discount anything that they have to say when it doesn't align with only the narrative that they want, not free speech, not freedom for all, but just the narrative that they want. That is the point, is that you don't say what they want to hear. So they start crying and telling you to go back to their country. Like,
Wait, hold on. I think my audio went out again. Just give me 1 second.
No, it's fine. Well, here's the thing, though. If we tell somebody,
1 second.
yeah, go ahead. You probably edit all this production as well too. So yeah, that's the thing. We'll tell you to go back. Like, the black culture will tell you to go back to your own country, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, nobody should be a victim. But the moment anybody white says you should go back to your own country, this could be anybody from Mexico, and Sarah's right, or anybody from Portugal or anything like that. Now all of a sudden they're racist. To me, it's like I said, it just calls to a double standard from which they don't even hold themselves to, which is a lack of accountability.
Yeah, and by the way, they use racism to like shut people up all the time. Even people, like you said, like if you're a black person and you're saying, well, this isn't a racist country or whatever like that, well, then you get called an Uncle Tom and stuff, which is racist as well. So they do the same thing too.
Take it off black, take it off black.
And I'm tired of getting called a racist every time I turn a black
nobody
man
called you a
down.
racist. Nobody called you a racist, Sarah. It's your victim narrative, Sarah.
We can all be mad at somebody getting mad.
Don't be the victim, Sarah.
Victim narrative, Sarah.
I turned down and this has happened to me before, Ali. I turned down a black man and I say, no, I don't want to give you my number, but thanks though. Oh, you don't like black guys? Like, no, I just think
there
you're
was
ugly.
racist, Sarah.
Yes, we're not going to deny that that happens, though.
Sarah, me and Tom are not saying that it doesn't happen.
That's just
You
because
let-
I'm
let me
white,
finish.
Ali.
Let me-
That's
let me-
just
no,
because
let
I'm
me
white.
finish.
When
Let
I
me
turned a black man
Can I
down,
finish?
that
No.
automatically makes
it
me
was
racist,
fantastic.
right?
And nobody-
Like,
and-
so
and
you're
we-
we're not denying
that.
And we're not denying
Go
it
back
happens.
to your country.
We're not-
Like, so what? So what?
let-
Guess
let her
what?
finish.
Yeah.
The guy called me a racist, and I said, "Okay, have a nice day," and I walked away. Did I cry and die about it? No, I laughed,
Oh
and I
my
thought, "Wow,
goodness.
close-minded
my
retard."
goodness.
Sarah, that's the point. We acknowledge that, right? Ali,
Yeah, Sarah. Good point by Sarah. But yeah, like what she's trying to say is that like, yeah, like there's racist comments all the time, but we don't sit here and victimize ourselves and portray ourselves as victims the time over it. Like people say mean shit all the time, not even just racism, just with anything. That's just the world, how the world is.
Yeah, it's a good point she points out. And also previously they mentioned, does anybody follow you in the store anymore because you're black? I mean, no, I haven't experienced any of this in my adulthood or life or anything like this. But you could say that even if you go to an Asian market and somebody glanced at you, oh my God, they were doing this. So it's just victim blaming, victim ID. And that's all we want in this society. And to me, it's like there are really no benefits for this. It's like stolen valor from people who are real victims. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Smoking gun. This doesn't have to go too far. How many times have you heard people say to Elon Musk, "Go back to Africa." They don't. It's very rare.
Who's Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
African American.
I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, Elon Musk. That's funny.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. English
say that
is
again.
opposition, like I was saying.
Yeah.
The French version. Omelette de fromage. Right?
Making fun of his accent is racist, guys. Okay, you guys can't do that. All right, that's
I'm making
racist.
fun of his comprehension level. So go ahead.
Uncle Tom has deemed that a dog whistle.
Yes,
when
that
Elon
is
Musk,
is a dog
when
whistle.
Ellen DeGeneres goes ahead and he says something like Elon Musk is always complaining all the time, every time. It's very rare that people say go back to Africa, even though he's actually African, right? He is technically African. If you don't like it, go back to Africa.
Actually, well, first of all, Elon Musk is not complaining about our country. A lot of times these people get called that because they're sitting here bitching and complaining about our country. But even so, Elon Musk actually does get deported, like, hey, go back to your, get out of here then, like from leftists who don't like Elon Musk. So he actually does get that, but it's funny, it's from lefties though.
I agree. Yeah.
This is regular, and this happens, and he doesn't get it as much as a black person because he is white, right? And he's fine. And Sarah, he's fine.
Or maybe he just doesn't victim about it as long.
He's the biggest crybaby on YouTube.
Well, do you identify as African American or do you identify as a Black American? No. I mean any Black person on the panel, I guess.
I'm a first generation European. I'm a Afro European.
Ali, do you identify
never
as
heard
an
that, right?
African American?
I identify as a Black American when white people are referring to Black people. But we know we're African Americans, right? About nation-wise, but Black isn't really a race as well too. When you get down to what race is, that's a whole other conversation.
Don't do it.
I ain't gonna go that. I ain't gonna go into race stuff, right? But I identify.
Do it, Ali.
I identify as both. I identify as an African American and I identify as Black.
Who's sizzling?
Same way as.
I think he's a white person.
Same way, Sarah, white people identify as American. They identify as white. They identify as Italian. They identify as French. They identify with everything.
Identify as a
So
bitch.
it's funny that when we speak about this, again, there's pushback. See, there's pushback to when we're referring about race or African American, but white people refer to themselves in a whole different ways outside of just
Bro,
being
you're
a-
such a victim.
How's that a victim talk?
How is that the victim?
I don't know. I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. I don't know what else to do for me.
It sounds like the cliche white response to when Black people are speaking. That's what
There
it
you
sounds
go.
like.
I don't know why you don't see the victimhood.
And it's a specific white person, not like Tom Fury. You can tell the difference. Just like
no,
that's like hold on, Fatty. That's
Wrestling.
like the Black person that you'll go, baby, you crying, and the Black person you go, man, Fatty, you're not like the rest of them. I like this Black. This
He
one.
didn't do nothing.
Whistling.
The black man that says the rhetoric that certain white people like, they like those Black people, but the Black people they don't like, they want them to go back to Africa. You got to be honest about that.
Which ones do we like?
Should Americans? Hold on, last question to the true Americans on the panel. Should a white person ever tell a Black person to go
Was
back?
that
to
a dog
Africa?
whistle?
Should a white person?
That was a dog whistle against me.
Should a white person ever tell a Black person to go back to Africa? if
Go
he's an
back
American?
to Africa and change your fucking tampon, you cry baby ass little bitch.
He's triggered.
Crazy.
He's triggered.
What if he's not from
That's
Africa?
extremist rhetoric.
I don't give a fuck where he's from. He's crying like a bitch. Change your tampon any continent you want to.
So, but you see, but this is what we're talking about, right? Flow State being performative about a very serious issue, and now I'm offended. I'm going to go on Twitter and do a mean tweet about it, and nothing will happen, right? So once again, I think we got to the conclusion that Flow State is not the honest actor.
But white
Petty
people,
Red,
hey, Patty, white people who are literally dominating the country, we're losing everything. We're losing everything. Like,
yeah, you know, they bring that up too about how, like, you know, white people will talk about the white replacement theory and stuff like that, but there is an active campaign against white people, though. Like, there is an active, like, anti-white rhetoric that is permeating our culture right now. So they actually have actual evidence of, no, there's a lot of anti-white racism going on. But people like Ilkan right here, they always want to make it about, no, actually, it's the black people that are suffering the most. And so that's the difference there.
I agree. So if you look statistically, I mean, anybody can go at home and look on Google. In 70 years, white people will become the overwhelming minority. And even globally, they are the minority. I've also looked this up as well, too. So the replacements happening right now is we're bringing in illegal immigrants. One of the big problems that's becoming pronounced right now is people are coming in and warping our culture. They're changing our belief systems and changing our traditions by bringing in the traditions of their country, their homelands. So when we have this declining birth rate, guess what's replacing them? Not only are we saying that they can replace our birth rate, but they're doing this by replacing our cultures, our traditions, and also our belief systems. They're coming in like the Somali pirate and voting differently, changing our city structures and everything else. So it's like literally the America that we see may be a different America that our grandparents have culturally differently. So I mean, I don't know what's America now anymore because 40 years down the line, it may be completely different than the culture we have right now because of this.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%.
All he wanted nothing.
All he wanted
How about those?
You know what? You know what? You know what?
When people are asking for justice, when people are asking for justice, they're victims.
You know, hey,
I mean, look, you guys haven't asked a lot of questions about like why they come to these conclusions or what the reasoning is or anything. But every time even we give it, we talk about like the intent. It's immediately like, oh, well, I'm white and I get this, or I have these issues. But you're not actually like engaging with the points that are being made. You're just doing a bunch of whataboutisms or find some way to like pivot to a different topic.
The guy said, "I got that white bitch. I got that white bitch twice." There's intent there. That's also super racist. Like, how's that not race?
Well, no, remember, Martae, he can't be racist. Martae, he can't be racist. He's black, remember?
No. Ali was making a point. Hold on, wait.
It's not true, but you know, that's what they say.
And you pivoted to something totally different.
That was a great point, Martae. I would love to see you debate this tomfoolery because he's like the stereotypical lefty dude that we always see, the kind of soyish, very soft. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything to add?
Well, that's the thing, though. They're saying that, no, it wasn't a racist thing just because it was a black person, but he left saying, I got this white bitch.
Yeah.
I got that white bitch. And that's the thing, though, is not only this, because they're saying that, no, it's not a racist thing. Well, who are the other people on board that did nothing? They did shit. They didn't help out. They didn't recover anybody's health at all because we can hold the carotid artery and stop the blood pouring out or anything. And then Fatty says, no, tomfoolery sent me a screenshot of somebody helping out. Well, hold on. Remember SpongeBob when they say 4 hours later? That's the response time we got. Like, this is stupid to say, no, he helped out. Yeah, after she was passed away. Like, that doesn't make any sense because we had no help. There was no aid. So to me, I think that this stop snitch culture makes no sense. When you're recording yourself doing crimes all the time as a community, like I was saying before, you are a walking contradiction, black community. I'm saying this right now. This makes no sense. So you get pissed when I hold you to account for anything that you do. But when I do this, I'm an Uncle Tom and I hate myself and I hate my mom. But any white people does this, who can correct black people if you can't? This makes no sense. Therefore, by your logic, nobody can correct the black community by any wrongdoing that they do. That's why this is perpetuated in the black community, because they're uncorrectable. This makes no sense by their own account.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well said. It's like, yeah, like when if anyone, even other black people, try to call out and they get excluded, like, well, you're an Uncle Tom, you're not a real black person, then it just continues the cycle. And yeah, no, absolutely. We got to call it out, and I think now is the time to do it, especially when there's less fears of just being called, like, before they could just brush us off by just calling us racist and being done with it. But I don't think it's going to work anymore. I think people are just kind of getting sick and tired of it.
And I would love to debate tomfoolery. I mean, I'm looking for anything. Here's what I do, though. I look at people's rhetoric and things that they say. If there's a faulty argument that I heavily disagree with, I will message that person directly, or I'll post something on Twitter and directly tag their name in this. You've seen me do this. I went after Roma's Army recently. I went after other people, and I literally make content saying their name, tagging them. I don't know how direct I can be, because I'm not a passive aggressive person. That's not what I do. When I go to war in combat, I literally write my name on a sword and head towards them in battle. This is what I do on social media, and I do this overwhelmingly. I've did this with Destiny and with Tomfoolery. I'm saying this right now. Hopefully he's hearing this. If he's had any pushback or anything else, I implore this. So, I mean, he would be a pretty good person to debate. Typical leftist, left-leaning logic there.
Well, hell yeah. Well, if you do debate Tomfoolery, I'm going to be right here to review it, man. We're going to end this off right here. So for clipping purposes, don't go anywhere yet, but I just got to say, what did you guys think about this? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and also manage to hit that like button. Also subscribe to Martae as well. Martae, where can they find you?
You can find me on X at Mighty Martae, and you can find me on Instagram at _the Mighty Mouse. And also my illustrious YouTube channel, which I want to get at least to 1,000. I don't know what it takes to get monetized on YouTube. What is it? Not 700s that I'm at. Probably, what is it, 1,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe you would know more than me about this, right?
Yeah, it's 1,000. It's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah, I think that this is very achievable. I appreciate it. Not to mention, I'm not trying to poach all your followers, by the way. Ryan does,
man.
By the way. But here's the thing, though. I will gladly support his channel and send super chats as well, too. I often go check out his channel. Cool Vic's an awesome person. He's also very based. This is why I wanted to collaborate on a co-host with him on previous debates, mind you, because, I mean, obviously you've liked some of the pretty based rhetoric that I've had that pisses a lot of people off. Obviously, my DMs are full of hate and vitriol, but this is only to stomp out the lack of logic and lack of I mean, there's a lot of faulty logic they have on their side, and I implore seeing them in the battle arena at any debate, and I'm constantly in the trenches. And thank you for all your support, by the way, too.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So yeah, go check out Martae. And if you want to see actually more debates on my channel too, I have a whole playlist on the screen, and you can also see all these debates and actually more that I haven't covered on his debate, obviously, as well.
And also, Christ is God. I'll just say that too.
Hell yeah, Christ is God. Thank you very much, Ken, for the $5 dono. Subscribe to Martae just now. Didn't even know he had a channel. Unbelievable. Griff. Thank you very much, Ken. God bless. Honestly,
awesome.
Great today. Oh, and hello, Shadow Cultures. Good to see you. Yeah, man. I know, we were going to cover the other one, but I'm running out of time here. So maybe we could do that on another day or something, It's been a lot of fun having you, man. I don't know what you thought about today, but I had a blast.
Yeah, I had a blast. Let me know if I can stop by, Matt, preferably after a debate that I have. Not like me versus everybody. That turned out to be like because it was right on the end of the whole Charlie thing, and it happened to be 9/11. So not too many people showed up for the me versus everybody thing. But I guarantee you, Sarah's going to have another one where I'm going to come up with some really controversial topic or basically find a new opponent. So it's going to happen. I'm going to be out here tearing it up on YouTube and finding new opponents. I'd love another collaboration in the future. I'll be in contact for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Especially, I think it would be better too if it was another debate where it was either one-on-one or something like that. That way we could get more of you, because it is harder with the panels and stuff like that, So definitely, I think that would go pretty well.
Yeah, or even the 2v2s are great too. So I don't mind doing this. I'm pretty sure that I might be able to tag team up with Andrew Wilson, or I mean, maybe even team up with Rachel Wilson as well too, or somebody else too. I'd love to do a team up with Jim Bob in the future. That would be great too. So I mean, we have an arsenal of people who are just decimators. Andrew Wilson's a walking nuke bomb himself. So pay attention to them and subscribe to their channels as well too. I'm an avid supporter of them.
Hell yeah, yeah, exactly. What's it called? One last video before we call it a day, before we do our final plugs. They were talking about Elon Musk. Here, am I sharing it? Let me see. They were talking about Elon Musk, or Elon Musk, as Fatty called him, being called back to Africa. So I found this funny and I shared it on X the other day. And so here we go. This is what it reminded me of.
Elon Musk were here right now, what would you tell him?
Go back where you come from.
America or
where he came from?
South Africa?
South Africa?
South Africa, right?
Oh, gotta go.
Oh man, this is crazy. This is like a self-owned. Do you realize that? This is it's like she doesn't want to be called this by her own rhetoric. And it's like, oh, you don't want anybody else to go home to your home country if we look at your lineage. So yeah, this is hilarious self-own here. I love it.
Yeah, dude. I thought that was hilarious. Just as soon as she learned that he was from Africa, like, oh, gotta go. Can't say that. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Love it, man.
Well, brother, it's been great having you today. We got to do this again sometime. Let's see. Before you go, just remember to subscribe to my channel, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, also hit that like button. You'll be helping me out a lot. Follow me on X as well, KEWlV1C on X. And remember to catch the Cool Stream live Mondays through Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And once again, follow Martae. Here, let me pull up his channel once again.
Quick heads up, though, by the way, I noticed that Wick holds a lot of these I think they're get-togethers and open panels, and he has Destiny on them. I'm going to crash one of them these days. The next one I see with Destiny, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to crash this panel and come on board and just be the antagonist. So I don't care what they're talking about. I'm just going to show up and be the antagonist, and me and Destiny are going to battle. So that's going to be good content, and I plan on doing this in the very near future because I've noticed Wick is holding this. Why would I pass this up to destroy the Goomer Gremlin again? This would be great.
Yeah, I know, right? That is going to be great indeed. So yeah, follow Martae here at Mighty Martae on X, and then you could also subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Let's get him monetized, guys. All right, Martae. Well, I hope you have a great and blessed day. Like I said, we got to do this again. It's been fun. So, everyone else to the chat, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Let me find an outro. Let me find a outro to play you guys out to. Let's do this classic, Deport 'em all. All right, guys. You guys all have a blessed and great day, and take care. And you too, Martae. Hope you have a good one.
Take it easy, man. Thanks.
Across the land from shore to shore, the rule of law we can't ignore. Borders strong, we stand up tall, protect our home, we'll answer the call. Ice rolls in with courage and might, guardians of justice, they shine in the light. With hearts of steel, they're proud and true, keeping our nation for me and you. Deport them all, send them back home, to their own lands, let them roam. ICE is here, they're brave and strong, keeping our borders where they belong. Deport them all, send them back home, to their own lands, let them roam. ICE is here, they're brave and strong, keeping our borders where they belong. Deport them all, with pride we stand for law and order across this land. They cross the line, they break the code, sneaking through where the river flows. But ICE is watching, they never sleep. Their promise to our country they always keep. With badges bright, they hold the line, defending freedom, rain or shine. No fear, no doubt, they'll see it through. For the red, white, and blue, they'll always be true. Deport them all, send them back home, to their own lands, let them roam. ICE is here, they're brave and strong, keeping our borders where they belong. Deport them all, with pride we stand, for law and order across this land. They say it's tough, they say it's mean, but borders keep our nation clean. ICE stands tall, they're heroes true, protecting me, protecting you. From desert heat to city streets, they hold the line where duty meets. So raise a cheer for the ICE crew, they're fighting for the land we know. Deport them all, send them back home. To their own lands, let them roam. ICE is here, they're brave and strong, keeping our borders where they belong.